Hello, my fancy friends. How are you? Hello to John in the chat and Libby's journal there. John says, I need the spot of sunshine in my life today. You know what? So do I. Not that I've been morbid or anything, but no, I've been a little stressed about some of the projects that we've got coming up. So it's nice to just like kick back and have a little chat with you all. Hi, thanks for joining. Yeah, so Charles D says, Happy Halloween. Hello. Greetings from London, says John Matthews. Good to see you. Nicholas Crass. You guys, what have you been watching and being obsessed with and listening to and everything? You know, my question every time we have one of these little things. I just noticed that there is a little warning about bandwidth. You know what? I think the Backblaze might be giving us some problems. Give me one moment. I'm going to be right back, you guys. I'm going to turn the music back up, and I'm going to make some setting changes. Be right back. And we're back. Okay. Alrighty. So just let me know if you're detecting any buffering issues or weird chugginess or keyframe problems or whatever. YouTube is just warning me that we're using a keyframe frequency of 4 seconds or less. I don't know what that means. Charles has been binging Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. Is the new Sabrina good? Here's my question. Because what I want it to be... Oh, goodness, this music is still very loud. What I want it to be is something very similar to the original Sabrina, where, you know, the cartoon from the 60s, late 60s, I think, where it's just goofy fun. Like, I don't know if you've ever seen the music video for, what's the name of the song, James? The Sugar song? Is the name just Sugar? Do. Candy Girl? I don't know. That song. You know the song I mean, right? Sugar, do. James wants me to sing, oh, honey, honey, do. You are my candy girl, and you got me wanting you. That's how it goes. What were we singing the other night that... Oh, okay. There's some musical interludes coming up in Queens of Adventure that will shock and amuse you and amaze. So that's my little teaser for an upcoming podcast episode. Queens of Adventure, blah. Anyway, to answer your question about Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, no, have not watched it yet. What I want it to be is goofy, stupid fun like it was in the 1960s. I don't think it's going to be. I think it's going to be dark and edgy, but maybe it's good. Let's see, 2 episodes left. Oh, okay. Charles is like zooming along. How do you say in the first episode? Seems pretty good. I love Michelle. Oh, Michelle Gomez is in it. Great. Kubka's here. Hello, Kubka. Rezel is saying hello. Emily says hello, everyone. Instead, a camera perspective, you don't need keyframes at all. Oh, okay. Well, fine. So I'm not too concerned about the keyframes. I just don't want it to be like chuggy and buffering and like, please wait. So let me know if you're having any issues. Oh, Videodrome got the notification 7 minutes late. Oh. Pika says, I met the composer of that song. Did you really? Now, there's somebody interesting. The composer of the Sugar do song is somebody interesting, as I recall. And I can't remember what their deal is. So they must not be that interesting. No, I'm sure they're fascinating. No, but I remember reading their biography or their bio like on Wikipedia, and there was something I was like, oh, they did that? Charles says, it is definitely not like that. Oh, honey. Okay. Well, so here's the thing is when reboots happen, and so often it seems to be reboots that are like, now it's dark and edgy. I'm like, okay, the world is dark and edgy enough. I just want something goofy and fun. Hi, Matt. This is Deekster Bogard. Hello. Thank you for joining. What was I going to say? But is the Chilling Adventures? Is the Chilling Adventures? Anything queer? Any family involved? Is there anything cute and gay? It's dark humor as well, says John Matthews. Videodrome likes witchy poo. Yeah, that is the tone that I want for my Chilling Adventures. I want. Oh no, I've forgotten the names of Sabrina's aunts from the Melissa Joan Hart version. Oh my gosh, is Melissa Joan Hart in the Chilling Adventures? Do you want to hear my Melissa Joan Hart story? When I lived in Los Angeles, occasionally I was hired to photograph events, and I was hired to photograph a Christmas party at a women's apparel store, which was strange, but okay, sure, in Beverly Hills. And they had a Toys for Tots thing. Zelda and Hilda. Thank you. So they had like this Toys for Tots thing where you could drop off toys and make a donation. Your toys would go to people in need. Wonderful. So I showed up. Nobody. This is Beverly Hills, so it's all rich people, so they aren't generous, and so nobody had donated anything. And Melissa Joan Hart arrives, because Melissa Joan Hart was like the guest of honor at this holiday party, sure. And she saw that nobody had donated anything, and she like went to Walmart or Walgreens, got a whole bunch of stuff, and came back with toys for the Toys for Tots bin. And I was like, Melissa Joan Hart, you are the loveliest. You saved Christmas. And that's the story of how Sabrina and Clarissa saved Christmas. Oh my God, a Sabrina and Clarissa crossover. Oh my gosh. Yeah, so anyway, Videodrop says Witchy Poo's the best. I agree. Sabrina, John Matthews says, help for transgender character. Oh wait, is there a transgender character on Sabrina? Fascinating. Friend is dealing with her trans identity. What? Okay, so I guess I have to watch Chilling Adventures of Sabrina if I must. I just noticed that you can see so much more of our place than usual because we have a lot less clutter than we often do. So welcome to our home, to the like cleared away floor space over here for once. We're also going to have our special guest, Arson Nicki, sitting right next to me later in the stream. Not Skyped in, an actual human being in the room next to me. And we're going to have to make some microphone adjustments when she gets here, but that's a small price to pay for the company of delightful Arson Nicki. Arson Nicki, of course, one of the queens on our podcast and our live shows, Queens of Adventure. So if you like drag queens on epic D&D quests, you will enjoy Queens of Adventure. That's at queensofadventure.com. We are doing a live stream tomorrow. Oh, my stars. I hope you all join us tomorrow. It's going to be amazing. At 1 p.m. Pacific, not on YouTube, but on Twitch. We're going to be starting our Extra Life live stream. It's a fundraiser for Seattle Children's Hospital. A whole week of live streams. We're going to be playing games, starting with some Dungeons & Dragons, starring the delightful Brian Safi, Carlos Maza, Anthony Oliveira, a.k.a. Mia Koopa, and Brian Wiest, LGBT film scholar. We're going to be playing some Dungeons & Dragons. It's going to be super gay and a little bit spooky because Halloween is coming. So that's tomorrow. You can go to bit.ly/extralifeseattle to get the schedule, and it's going to be a fundraiser for Seattle children, so you can donate a few bucks to a good cause. And it's going to be super fun. So please come join us for that. Uncle Deadly says, so excited to watch tomorrow's stream. Yay, Uncle Deadly. I can't wait to have you there. Let's see. Videodrum says, Melissa Joan Hart was in that God's Not Dead 2. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, I wish I didn't know that. Well, you know, we all have to do what we have to do to keep the lights on. Uncle Deadly says, so excited for tomorrow's stream. I should rewatch the first 2 of their adventures before tomorrow. You don't have to. We've done this twice before. And you don't have to be all caught up on the previous streams. If you want to, you can. Maybe we should put a link to that on the donation page. I might do that after this stream. Because it might be hard to find otherwise. But yes, I forget which name is the actress. I think Hilda is Carolyn Rea and Zelda is Beth Broderick. I mean, that sounds right. Oh no, Charles D says Melissa Joan Hart's politics are not so good. Oh, Blair. Well, maybe then it's best that we've rebooted the Sabrina. How's the new Sabrina? Who's playing the new Sabrina and how are her politics? Never mind, I don't want to know. All I want to know is, is she in a band and does she cast spells? So in the music video, the original actual music video, she does something like she turns Jughead into a frog at one point because she's a witch. So Sure, that's the kind of Sabrina I want in my chilling adventures. Also, I want a talking cat! Question mark, exclamation point. Well, Jeff says she's pro gun control, so that's good. Deekster says, I got into a discussion as to why the male witches in my story aren't called warlocks. You know, I've always found that, like, a kind of a lame name for boy witches. Just call boy witches witches, right? Like, is there any reason not to do that? About the actresses, Charles D says, Videodrome is right about the actresses who played Hilda and Zelda. Those are difficult to say. Because I always want to say Zilda and Hilda. Hilda and Zelda. There is a cat, but it doesn't talk, says John Matthews. Oh, man. I want to watch the show and I want to like it, but I don't want it to be dark and gritty. I don't want the animals to just make animal noises. I don't want... Rezel likes warlocks. I mean, or call them wizards. I don't know. Like, I'm all for boy witches and girl wizards. Like, I don't know. Gender's a construct, and it seems like if you're a magic user, you should be able to call yourself whatever you want. What was I going to say? I don't remember. I've got my coffee right here, though. You guys, this is the size of my coffee cup. It is tiny. It is a thimble. And yet, and I've only had half of my coffee. I'm not, there it is. All morning, like in the last 4 hours, this is how much coffee I've had. Half of this cup. And I'm bouncing off the walls right now, and jittery and weird. So, what's wrong with me? I don't know. Fortunately, I got this little fidget thingy. I'm not going to do that too much on stream, but I got a little thing that I could just click buttons on endlessly, and that will keep me from going insane. Salem is in there. He has like one line when he's first part of the show. I'm not telling you when he appears. Okay. Add honey to the coffee. That's okay. I could do that. That is a good idea. Disgust to Understand says that is teeny. I know. That's the thing. Like, I need very little coffee to get agitated and very little alcohol to get way too drunk. So it's kind of thrifty, but also it gets out of control very quickly. John says, maybe Sabrina represents today's dark times, current dark time. I mean, that's the thing. I don't need a reflection for that. I'm living in it. The cat may not talk, but he did walk the red carpet, Uncle Deadly. I did see it. I am delighted that there is a cat on a red carpet. You know, really, any animal doing anything, I'm delighted by. John Newman says, that's 30% of your weight in coffee, so no wonder you're flying. Yeah, that's true. There's not a lot of me. Merlin the Wizard was family-friendly, but Julian Sands' Warlock, 1989 horror film, was not family-friendly. Julian Sands plays a gay male, 91's Naked Lunch, and goes rear naked, 86's Gothic. Julian Sands, why do I know that name? I know who that is. Ugh. Let's look him up. I know who that is. I don't know who that is. I know, but that I should know. Oh my gosh. No more coffee. Julian Sands of Time. He was... Yep, I don't know who he is. Oh, it's Jor-El in Smallville. Okay. He was in Arachnophobia. He was in a movie called Warlock. Yeah, no idea. No idea who this is. Not a clue. He was in The Killing Fields, A Room with a View, Warlock, Arachnophobia, and Vatel. And he was on 24. None of those I have seen. Harry Anderson played... Harry Anderson? Wait. In my head, I just combined Harry and the Hendersons and Louis Anderson. I don't know what that would even be. Dave says, I do. He's into it. Good. Videodrome says, Sabrina and Charmed being remade at the same time. Coincidence? Oh, maybe. And ZDAX says, have you tried pot? Have I tried? Every night. That's what helps me get to sleep at night. Sabrina says a slight SJW sensibility, which seems like a trend with a lot of current TV series. I am delighted by that. I am happy for a little social justice, because it seems like we have a lot of injustice at the moment. I was watching Big Mouth, the animated comedy on Netflix. It's okay. I just don't like the way it looks. I haven't watched it because I'm like, ugh, it just looks ugly. There's a scene in which the ghost of Freddie Mercury extols the virtues of gay pride. Oh, no. Now I have to watch this, too. He was on... Harry Anderson from Stargate 1. Okay. 90s hunk. Okay. That's how I know him. Okay. He's the Stargate guy. Okay. Rezel says, I know a music video that will click with Matt. Roof Meek Angela. Angela? I will check that out in a moment. Charles D. Charles D. says, I moved recently. I don't have internet, at least not internet I'm paying for. Oh, thanks downstairs neighbor, give me your password. Yay. Well, I'm glad you're able to watch and gobble up their bandwidth with the live stream. Freddie was bisexual, not gay. Gay. Oh yeah, gay is monosexual. John says, rereading Harry Potter to get my magic fix this season. That seems good. I tried reading Harry Potter when the books were coming out, and I was like, this isn't really clicking with me. I find it a little too cute. But I don't know, maybe I'd like it today. Because I definitely do want something cute and adorable. Oh, James is being cute and adorable right now. He's doing a little dance. You guys, if only you could see James the way I see him, as an adorable woodland creature. He's so cute, you guys. Harry Anderson was Judge... Oh! Judge Stone on Night Court. Wait. Are there two Harry Andersons as Videodrome? Because... Was that the same Harry Anderson? On Stargate and on Night Court? And occasionally on Cheers? James is shaking his head no. He does not believe in the power of Harry Anderson. Okay, so wait, we're going to look this up too. Harry Anderson, Stargate. I think that may not be correct. Richard Dean Anderson, you guys. MacGyver was on Stargate, not Harry Anderson. Although that would be fun. Dylan says, hello to Matt and Bald Papa. That's me. So I had a dream that's what James was calling me. James's new nickname for me was Bald Papa. And I woke up so angry at him for that. It's not fair to be mad at him for something I dreamed. And I tried to justify it by being like, well, my dream was just a reflection of what I know you would do. That's not how dreams work. Wrestle says, I started my own D&D campaign. Hooray! The main villain there is a fabulous Goliath wizard of the enchantment school. Whoa, that sounds really good. Oh, an enchanting Goliath wizard who is fabulous. I want that. Ah. Oh, what? I live again. That's Goliath. Oh, Goliath, the gargoyle. On TV's Gargoyles, he says, we live again. Just like that. That's how he says it. That is Keith David. That's Keith David's voice. Oh, hello. At last, who disturbs my slumber? Michael says, I loved your Rocky Horror video. Thank you. That was a bit of a remake. Well, an update. I made a Rocky Horror video about 2 years ago, and it got taken down by Fox because it used footage of Rocky Horror. So finally, I've gotten around to updating it with new information and a little bit of a better story, and posted that. So you can find that on my YouTube channel. What should I do for next month's Culture Cruise? I was thinking about doing Thinking about doing Murphy Brown. I don't know about that one. Maybe. There are 2 gay episodes of Murphy Brown. One where Miles thinks he might be gay, and there's some good bits about, like, how do you know if someone's gay? There are certain rules to being gay. Oh no, gay panic. What if I'm gay? And then there's a second one where Jim opens a gay bar, but not by accident. Jim, like, opens a bar, and then it becomes a gay bar, and he's like, oh no. So some very interesting 90s attitudes about the queers. Anyway, so should I do Murphy Brown, or should I do something else for our next Culture Cruise? Oh, and Julian Sands was also in Stargate. Okay. Gotcha. Gary says the Harry Potter books get darker. Everything. Why does everything have to get dark? I fled from Netflix's new One Day at a Time after maybe 3 episodes. Not good. There's a lot of not good on Netflix. Ugh. I have not watched that. Is that a remake of a British show? ZDAX says cannabis is now legal in Canada. I'm happy. Yeah, how's that going? I heard that you ran out. College Humor has a D&D. Everybody's got a D&D campaign these days. How did you hand gesture Goliath? Oh, I don't know. What did I do? What did I do for Goliath? Oh, gargles. I went like this for a gargoyle. I don't know. That's what gargoyles do, right? Oh, it's because Goliath, like, climbs up the side of a building by putting his claws into it. They climbed up so many buildings like that on that show. Like, every building in New York is going to have claw marks in it. lot of people do. Wait. Karen says, I like it. The Netflix one. I have nothing against people like it. I just can't watch it. It's just too yuck. The white characters are intolerable. Meow. There's a drag episode of King of the Hill. Huh. Okay. Interesting. Z-Dex says, Murphy Brown was good from what I remember. I think it was good. I can't say I'm into the new one. I gave it a shot and I was like, ugh. Oh, and Reza wants to remind me to watch Ruf mich Angela. Check that out. Fascinating to see those Murphy Brown episodes. I've been wishing I could rewatch old Murphy Brown. Well, here's another problem, is it's hard for me to find those old episodes because they are nowhere. I can find low-quality torrent versions, which is fine, but also, by the way, let me know if the audio is doing anything weird here. I could do low-quality torrent versions, but it's just not ideal. Okay, so I am pasting this music video here, and we're going to turn down the classical music. I don't know where it's happening. Here it is. Go away, Mozart. Okay. Oh, dear. All right, we'll give this a shot. The thumbnail has me nervous, and it starts with an ad for Fiverr. Skip ad. Okay, here is the music video that Rezel has recommended. It starts with what appears to be a gender non-conforming person at the symphony, maybe, or an opera. I'm gonna watch it through opera glasses. Oh, there's an accordion being played by a dog. What is this? Okay. This is super weird, and I like it, and I'm glad you recommended this. There's an Angela Merkel impersonator. What exactly is this, and what is it from? It is a little dirty. I'm not sure if it's a drag queen that we're looking at, but it's a fun. The padding. The padding on this drag is not convincing. So I don't know what I. Okay, we're gonna turn this down. I don't know for sure what we're looking at here, Rezel. I think there are a lot of cultural references to Germany that I'm not super following. Okay, we're gonna turn that off because it's super distracting. How did you come across that? Dylan suggests cruising and cottaging for the next culture cruise. Well, I mean, usually I focus on a TV show or movie or something. So, like, are you talking about the movie Cruising and cottage cheese? I don't know. So, I mean, if there's a TV show or movie or something that talks about cruising, I mean, other than the movie Cruising, which I should do actually, I wonder if people would be into that. It's not the most popular film, and I'm not sure what I have to say about it, but I'm sure I would have an opinion after watching it. It's been a while since I've seen that one. DC's Titans got so dark it hurts, says Kupka. Yikes. Dylan wants to know if I've seen The Good Place. Yes, we're almost caught up in The Good Place. There's new episodes that we have not seen. Let's see. Sorry, chat is scrolling very fast. In Canada, first DUI was given out 60 minutes after legalized for driving while high. Yeah, don't do that. It's probably not as dangerous as drunk driving, but still, I wouldn't recommend it. I don't like to, I don't think I have. Never mind. I was going to say, I don't think I've ever streamed something like Mario Kart where I'm driving while stoned, but I have done that. And it's not super fun, actually. The worst is playing video games that need you to concentrate and figure out puzzles. I get so frustrated if I am high and trying to do something that requires a lot of brain power. Very frustrating. Emily says a trans woman like Rocky Horror Picture Show too. Good, I'm glad. I know that movie is problematic when it comes to LGBT, particularly depictions. So I'm glad that you liked my video or like the movie. I have a D&D campaign, says Katra, and I don't even like D&D that much. Katra, tell me about your D&D character. That is so exciting. Charles D says, I guess you could do an episode on gargoyles. Lexington, one of the gargoyles, is gay. Kind of. I feel like he's fan gay, not canon gay. Like, I don't think it ever really comes up on the show, right? Jeff Taylor says, oh, Peggy gets mistaken for a queen on King of the Hill. Okay, that's pretty good. Videodrobe says, I brought up Rocky Horror on ContraPoint's live stream. Someone jumped on me saying, don't even say its name because it's transphobic. Yeah, I know the creator, the guy who played Riff Raff, is transphobic. That is true and very unfortunate. Ugh. But I don't know that the movie itself is necessarily transphobic, but then again, it's really not my place to say because I'm not trans. Maybe you won't like it, but I adore it. It says Rezel. It's a lot. It's a lot to like have going on in the corner of my eye while I'm streaming, and also to pay attention to the lyrics and everything. It's a lot. Nicholas says, I love D&D. Ultimate storytelling vehicle. Yes, indeed. Sounds like Ender likes the movie, likes the music video. Sounds like a German Barney take. Mentioning Angela Merkel, did you see the clip from Tracy Ullman show where she's dressed up as Merkel on a bus door and sings 99 Luftballons? Oh, that does sound good. Okay. Just as the show Billions has a non-binary character. Ooh, let me write that down. This time I'm prepared. I have a piece of paper to write stuff down with and everything. Okay. Sabrina Billions. I feel like someone else recommended that to me recently. Oh, SeriesTop.net has Murphy Brown. That's good to know. SeriesTop.net has Murphy Brown. Thank you, thank you. That may not be a strictly legal way for them to provide it, because that looks like one of those piratey sites. But you know what? If it gets me the footage I need, I think that's fine. Riverdale. Oh, Riverdale talks about cruising? Really? Oh, I know in an early episode and that's not cruising really, but you see some characters basically, I guess they're kind of cottaging. They go like out into the woods to hook up. That's not really cottaging though. I want to plug the new Broadway musical Prom about a town in Indiana which bans a lesbian couple from going to prom. So a fictional group of Broadway actors come and throw a prom for them. Nicholas, that sounds amazing. Prom on Broadway. That sounds great. I will definitely look that up. Dylan says the gay teen wants to cruise while there's a murderer on the loose, but his friend wants him to stop. She says murder is bad. Oh, more because she's homophobic. Yikes, that's complicated. Rezel says, I need to battle my depression somehow, and weird stuff helps, since my relatives consider me sick now. Oh, Rezel, I'm so sorry that's happening. But it is nice that you're here. I'm glad to see you, and I'm glad that you have found some fun stuff like this Angela Merkel thing. And I hope you have other folks in your life who are like, ugh, your relatives, blurg. No, you're queer or whatever you want to be. I hope you have other people around you who are supportive. Greg says, Murphy Brown Complete Season 1 is available on Amazon. Well, here's the thing, is I don't want to buy like the complete season because the 2 episodes are like several seasons apart. So I don't want to have to like obtain a ton of DVDs just for like a couple minutes of footage. But I could do that too. I suppose there is the legal route. Jordan says, Word of God gay creator says he's gay. I don't know who that is that you're talking about. Pika says, I'm getting my marijuana certificate Thursday. Why did they start into the stoner stream today? But congratulations, Pika. The character, creator or a writer on Gargoyles is gay. So, Lexington's more of a word of gay character than explicitly gay. Gotcha. Okay. That's so frustrating when that happens. Okay, that's who Torden's talking about. That Lexington is gay, but only because the creator says so, not actually on the show. Frustrating. I think I'm going to change mine to be more like my stories, which have been coming along quite... Oh, good, Katra. I'm glad that your stories are coming along. And remind me, I can't quite remember your story. Was something elf? I'm sorry, I totally forgotten. It's been a few months that you talked to us about the story that you're working on. There was something elf related, right? Or was there a necklace? I remember there being a necklace or an amulet. Gargoyle's creator said Lexington was intended to be gay, couldn't reveal in the show. He calls all the stuff he revealed in interviews but never got in the show canon in training. Oh, that's nice. Abrazine says, may I compliment you on how neatly everything is put away? Thank you. Thank you. It is not necessarily neatly put away. It's just pushed off to the side. The clutter has gone off camera. Torden says, you're at a computer notepad, but I'm at a PC and they scare me and I don't know how to open things and click on things. And I don't know how to use a Windows. So I've got paper is the notepad that we carry about with us everywhere. That is not true. James, Arson is downstairs. We're going to be joined by Arson in just a minute. It is in my wallet, which is probably by the door. She says she's in the airlock. Oh, wait, I'm getting a call. So for some reason, our apartment building has an airlock where you can, you have to go in through two separate doors and you have to be buzzed in through both of them. So Arson is trapped inside right now. On a pirate site, you'd see Murphy Barrow. Yes. Lysander says the books Dreadnought and Sovereign are superhero stories starring a gay trans girl. Whoa, written by a trans author. Violent but very well written. Dreadnought and Sovereign. I'm writing that down. Dreadnought and Sovereign. Two people that I came out to just flip sides the moment my parents found out. Oh, wait, no, you don't have people. No, that's really frustrating. Rezel, I guess I would just encourage you to keep seeking people out either online or in person, as I'm sure there are lots of supportive people out there. I mean, you certainly have a supportive group in these streams, but I only do them every 2 weeks or so. So my advice there would be like keep looking for streams like this one and communities, and you can join our Discord, for example. You can join the Queens of Adventure Discord, and there's lots of nice folks chatting over there to find other queers who are like, hooray, queers. Blake says, I want to know how you feel about Disney including LGBT themes in their films, like how fans really want Elsa to have a girlfriend in Frozen 2. Yes, that would be so good. And it's been slow to have anything LGBT in a Disney movie. Super slow. Frustrating. Irritatingly slow. So yeah, I would love for Elsa to have a girlfriend. That would be great. Charles says, there's only one season of Murphy Brown available unless they released it something. Aw, jeez. Oh, and that's a great idea, that Elsa's girlfriend should have fire powers. That would be great. I love that. Yeah, that I don't know, like the sequel is called no, this is a bad idea. I was going to say the sequel is called Flaming instead of Frozen, but I feel like that title invites something weird. Time to buy the magical art of tidying up or something like that as the title. Well, that does kind of feel like what we've done over here. We've done some magical tidying up. Just not magical enough. It's just we've done some magical displacement is what's happening. What's happened here. James, what would you pick up and express gratitude for before throwing it away? Tissues. You'd throw away like a half-used tissue box, like perfectly good tissues? Let's see. You'd use them first. You'd thank them and throw them away. Thank you for your service. You'd salute and throw it in the trash. I'm sorry, I've lost my place in the chat. I would want Elsa to be canonically lesbian, but I want it to be real, not gay baiting like they did like LeFou and the Beauty and the Beast. Yeah, I agree. That was not great. When you do Dungeon Drag Queens on Twitch, will you have a Dice Boy, says Dylan. Oh, we don't have a Dice Boy for the streams, because that would be a little weird. Like, I don't know what we'd actually need the Dice Boy to do or how we'd fit him in. We could certainly invite a shirtless man over. Yes, James says it's going to be tight as it is, which is putting it mildly. Yeah, we're not still 100% sure how we're going to arrange the queens for that live stream. So, and we're going to have like 5 people on camera. So I'm not sure, like a 6th shirtless man. I don't know where we'd even put him. Torden says Twitch did not appreciate Dice Boy. He was pretty scantily clad. Yes. Kupka says, just found out many Polish schools backed off Rainbow Friday because Minister of Education suggests the school will be part of it, would have problems. That's frustrating. Ketra says, who are we talking about? The Percy Jackson Harry Potter crossover fanfic. Oh, yes, your story. Percy Jackson and Harry Potter crossover fanfic tune full of gay and blind and gender nonconforming characters along with crazy demon vampire ninja zombies. That's so much stuff. Oh my goodness. That's a lot of stuff, but it sounds great. Disney could make so much money if they made characters queer and not off-screen queer. I mean, I want to believe that's true. I really, really want to believe that's true. A lot of consumers would be annoyed by that initially, but that's still no excuse because, that was the excuse that's always been used, whether it's for queer people or people of color or people who have, different accessibility needs. It's always like, oh, but mainstream audiences won't like it. And so therefore we must pretend that they're invisible. And like, I don't buy that as a good reason to deny people representation. Disney will push gay characters the moment it would bring. Rezel says the moment it would bring them profit. Yep. Yeah. Basically, you just gotta, because that's how capitalism works. More bummers. Fire and Ice is a famous lipstick by Revlon. Says opera. Oh, okay. Famous lipstick by Revlon. So we have the Fire and Ice of it all, of the Frozen dyad. I think Disney TV is better at covering LGBTQ themes. That's true. The episode of Alex Max a month ago where characters struggling with sexual identity. I think Disney had the first same-sex kiss, animated same-sex kiss in a children's show. Disney has the first openly recurring gay couple, first recurring openly gay couple on the show, Andy Mack. And Carolyn says, Rezel, we're all your friends here. That is true. Don't worry, honey. It'll all work out fine. You can live your life, find your chosen family, try to get out there and meet people. I'm sure they'll love you. That is super true. Yes. LGBT and Disney, this is Kupka says, will be all about business, but I said business. I mean, that's what Disney is, right? Disney business. Let's hope soon it will be considered a good business idea. And it says they had a gay kiss in The Descendants, apparently, but cut it. So I haven't watched all of Descendants. I've only seen some highlights. I do like how silly it is. Stephanie Frost says, where can I find your interview with Adam Coble? And would you consider interviewing Distracted Elf? I do not know who Distracted Elf is, but absolutely I would consider it. Adam Coble interview is at sewersofparis.com. Interview Distracted Elf. Distracted Elf is exactly what I am right now because I completely misspelled interview. Who's Distracted Elf? Charles D says some right-wing nut react to that episode. Yeah, of course. Noten is here. Oh, wow, I made it to one of these. Hooray, hooray. Glad to see you. Didn't have the film rights to Percy Jackson now, so Nico D'Angelo and Will Salas will break the glass ceiling as queer characters. Nicholas Crass says, but representation drives people to theaters. Yes, but it's so easy as a business to be like, we want to drive the most number of people to theaters or into our audience or whatever by appealing to the broadest possible audience and neglecting the long tail. Well, I mean, that's a good point. Business people didn't think Crazy Rich Asians would work without a white lead, but it's number one in the box office in a few weeks. Everybody, I would like to introduce a very special guest. Someone fantastic has just arrived. Everybody, presenting the fabulous Arson Nicki.
Hi.
There we go. I'm gonna bring over this microphone, so pardon the bonking for just a moment.
Okay.
That's working now. I'm sorry about that. That unplugged the microphone for a moment, but we do have levels. Hooray. Oh my goodness. Let's try to do that again, but without breaking everything.
Oh my god, there's so much chatting going on here.
I'm not sure I'm doing this correctly, James. This microphone may have met its end.
Uh-oh. What was that? You just tore it off? I don't know you wrote string.
I am a powerful warlock.
You might want to mute it just for... Is it...
Oh boy. Sorry, everybody. Here's what we're going to do while we break
Improvisation.
Yeah, so we're going to go to some Be Right Back classical music, and we'll be right back.
Sounds good.
Do-do-do-do. Okay, we have returned. You can't quite see it, but there's some pink duct tape holding the microphone in place right now.
How appropriate. Drag queen, pink duct tape.
So everybody presenting the fabulous Arson Nicki,
Hello.
whom you may know from Queens of Adventure, or if you are in the Seattle area, from Rapture and a million other lovely shows. Night of a Thousand Arsons recently happened, which was a true delight.
Yeah, you were there for that. That was a fun evening. We had a bunch of my closest drag friends dress up as me and do my face and do past numbers that I've done, and it was really weird. Like, in a good way, but it was a little scary.
Really weird is like my preferred mode of for anything, really.
Good.
So yeah, it was super, super fun. Let's get really quick caught up with it. Oh, Distracted Elf is a girl that streams D&D with Adam Coble. Oh, okay, that's great. Yes, I will definitely reach out. Sleeping Beauty. Oh, so it was not Sleeping Beauty. It was 1812 Overture, says Charles identified. There used to be cereal called Puffed Rice. Oh, they use this music for their jingle, says Oprazine. Neat. And let me know if the music's too loud or anything. The Big Bunny has arrived, says Richard Dean Tracy. Moving this weekend temporarily, moving again next weekend. Good luck on your move. Fantastic. And I think we are just about caught up on chat now, so you. So Arson, tell us a little about yourself and who is Arson Nicki?
Oh gosh. Where do I begin? I've packed it all so tightly that to come out with it is a little it takes a little bit of unpacking, but I'm a drag performer here in Seattle, Washington. We've recorded so much in this studio that I'm actually normally this sort of setup would be like, ooh, what's all this? But we've recorded so many hours of podcast material that I'm just like, oh yeah, this is my living room. What are you talking about? Yeah, I do shows all over Seattle as a drag performer. Some of them regular, a lot of them guest occurring, and obviously I do the Dungeons, the Queens of Adventure podcast with you, where we play D&D, and it's a lot of fun. And yeah, that's pretty much what I'm doing. I'm basically performing numbers in other people's shows, but I'm also working really hard to question and expand what drag informs in other artistic mediums, and I try to present my work in places that drag wouldn't normally necessarily be seen, in ways that are critical of drag's past, present, and future, and just trying to see where else we can take the work. So that's what I'm doing in general, but there's always stuff coming down the pike, so it all depends on the week.
It's true. Yeah, when you want to, in Seattle, if you want to know just what is happening with queer nightlife, basically all you need to do is look at Arson's Instagram or Facebook and be like, oh, okay, here's 30 upcoming shows that Arson is going to be involved with in some way, and those are the ones that you want to go to.
Yeah, it's the sort of thing where it's I get invited to so many Facebook events that are drag shows in town that when Facebook does that thing at the beginning of the day when it's you have X amount of events with X amount of friends, and I'm like, wow, I have to not attend 15 drag shows, and it's a Wednesday, so.
Right, yeah. Or it's just send, now you've got 1,000 Arsons, so you could just send your minions out into the world.
Honestly, you could just put someone in my face and send them in my stead and make them do this, and people are like, ooh, that's so artistic.
Alfredine says, forgive me for playing stylist Arson, but I was sure you were going to redrape your scarf as a turban.
Do you want me to put it back on? I will absolutely put the scarf back on. I won't redrape it into a turban, but maybe it gives a little bit of an air of authority.
I yeah, mystery, and you can never have too many scarves.
Honestly.
Yeah. That's right now I'm working on it. I'm writing an adventure, not for the Queens, but for another group, involving scarves as a treasure that can be obtained. Because we have a character who likes scarves. So I'm like, okay, we're just going to put scarves everywhere. And that's that's how that world is going to function.
Can we roll a fashion check?
Actually, we were talking about that, what role exactly should, it's probably going to be a charisma check to, make an outfit that matches.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Video Drip says scarves are the best.
Agreed. I can show you. I was wearing it a few minutes ago. It's this is a fun story. This is from the company formerly known as American Apparel. Yeah, I remember I got this actually at their flash sale where it was or they're going out of business, everything is 75% off, and this was way out of my price range originally, but it was much more reasonable when they were not doing business anymore, and so now I like keep this very, very close to me because if I lose it,
No replacing it.
nope.
Yeah. I had that issue with some of my photography equipment. I loved all the Calumet stuff, and then like I went to Calumet one day, and they're like, "Oh, so glad to see you. We're having a huge sale." And I'm like, "Hooray!" And they're like, "Because we're closing in 2 days." Oh, God. Which also means that all my flash triggers, which are remote controlled things, I can never replace them.
Wait, actually?
Yep. My little remote controlled flash things are proprietary Calumet, and they don't make them anymore because they went out of business. Yeah. There's still a Calumet UK, and I don't know if the British ones work with the American ones. So, but I would have to fly to England to like get them because they don't do mail order.
That's some like Twilight Zone, like, oh, I'm going to be a librarian and then
Yes.
the world is going to end and then I'm going to break my glasses kind of stuff.
Yep.
Like, no, cursed for the end of eternity.
Exactly. Yeah, it's so frustrating. It's very like camera equipment of the Magi. Pew, 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 pew. Videodrum says, "How many magic schools are there? The scarf made Arson look like a professor from some magic schools."
That's all I need to put
Yes.
this back on.
Yeah. I do like that. You do have kind of a Maggie Smith vibe.
Professor from magic school is a mood for sure.
That is actually really great. Yeah. Oh, that is, yes, I like that a lot.
Wingardium Leviosa.
Wonderful. We were talking Harry Potter a little earlier. Like, I tried when the books were like initially coming out, like 2000 or so was when I tried to read them. And I was like, too cute for me. But,
Okay.
How Harry Potter are you?
So it's in stages because I was, gosh, like when did that first book come out?
96 or 7?
Because-
No, that must be too early.
I think so, because I must have been in like, gosh, I mean, what if we had magical devices that could look this information up for us?
There's so many screens around us right now. Let's count the screens. 1, 2,
Like,
3, 4, 5, 6.
does my phone on the floor count?
7, 8. I think we've got 8 screens like visible within my field of vision right now.
I love that. Yeah, I don't know when the books first came out, but that was definitely when I was like just like first learning to read. So I actually ended up reading the books as they came out.
97.
Yeah, so if 97, I would have been about 5 years old then. So I think I started reading them when like 2 or 3 had been out. So I was probably like 7 or 8ish when I like first started like getting into it. So yeah, I read all of the books, like did that thing where like the midnight release would come out and you'd like wait in the lines and then
Really?
I'd like, oh
You went to
yeah.
bookstores?
Oh, I would wait in the lines and they'd have the parties and then
Did you dress up?
Yes, I did, obviously. That's like early drag. And yeah, I remember like not sleeping and just like cramming all of the books and then like going to bed for like 24 hours and then like waking up and being like, when's she coming out with the next one? And just over and over and over again until the very end. And of course that meant that like when the movies were happening, like that was a really special moment. And I don't know, it was my first major experience with getting to see a movie after reading the book and be like, the book was better. So but in terms of like now, not necessarily so much. I don't keep up with all of the stuff that's going on in the Harry Potter universe today. But I mean, undeniably, like reading wise, like talk about something that, you know, reading for fun was like centered around Harry Potter, like back in the day. So it'll always have some sort of nostalgia, even if I don't keep up with it necessarily.
You know, bless J.K. Rowling for all the literacy that those books encourage. I mean, problematic, of course.
Yeah, like I said, I don't keep up anymore,
Yes.
but definitely like undeniably like had its place back in the day, and that's something
Yeah.
to be appreciated.
And then also like teaching kids like books are better than movies so often. Like, what a great early lesson to like legitimately feel like I prefer the books. Like, I don't know. I feel like it's a good thing for kids to pick up on early.
Yeah, and especially since, I mean, the way that it was timed, I know this puts me in a very specific time frame, but like I remember, gosh, like the books from like the very beginning of the books to like the very end of like the last movies, those were like, that was me from like 5, 6, 7 years old all the way to like 18 and 19. So like I really felt like I grew up with these people, and to have something where the entire like book and movie universe spans over the course of those like formative years is not an experience that I think really we've culturally had, at least within the last like I mean, parallel wise, like I don't have any comparisons for my own self within the last, gosh, like 20 or 30 years. But again, maybe that's my age speaking. I don't really.
Yeah, I'm gonna say,
know.
like, I'm thinking about like when I was growing up, Star Wars was kind of that. The Star Wars movies, because I was like, I remember being a kid and like having Star Wars toys was like the biggest deal. Literally to the point where like there was some kid on my block who had like Darth Vader stuff, and I remember like he was the first kid to have Star Wars toys, and I remember all of the other kids being like, he has Star Wars toys. Oh. Just like gossip, like that was the gossip around the neighborhood. I was just thinking like twice in my life have I lined up for the release of something, and I think they really sum me up. One of them was with James for the release of the Wii, when Toys R Us, I think, was like, the Wii was coming out, and we like waited in line at midnight for the toy thing to come out. And I want to say like Toys R Us said we only have 100, and we were right at the end. We were like at the cutoff. And then I think we were like past the cutoff and decided to wait in line and take our chances for hours. And then they announced like, oh, actually we have 150. So we just didn't want to tell anybody so that like people wouldn't wait around too much. During that time, James, I remember you were in line, and I would like walk around. It was at a mall at midnight. And there was this weird, like, everything in the mall was closed except an ice skating rink that they had there for some reason. And I don't remember why, but people were ice skating at like 11 p.m. So,
like one is wont to do.
Not really a relevant detail to the story, just something that stuck in my mind. Oh gosh, that's right. And there was fish painted all over the walls of the ice skating rink. What a bizarre thing to remember.
That's not a place that I would put fish decorations.
Like, it encourages, like, just drill a hole in the ice skating rink and do, like, ice fishing inside.
That's how the waiting in line for video games is how we were with the Game Boys as well as with the GameCube specifically. We were a very Nintendo household, and so anytime that they were coming, we didn't do that with the Wii, but we definitely, like, got a Wii because, like, I don't know, we just really, we were Macintosh people and Nintendo people. Like through and through, and so like anytime something like that came out was like major event.
Yep.
So
the second thing that I waited in line for was at Staples. Can you possibly guess what I was waiting in line for at midnight at Staples?
Like top of the line printer.
It was the release of Windows 95.
Oh my goodness gracious!
The whole family went to Staples at midnight so that we could get Windows 95, be the first in Southington, Connecticut to have our copy of Windows 95. I remember they opened the door. There was a small crowd of people. Like, people were like rushing through the, like, in through the exits to get into the Staples as fast as they could. It was quite a scene.
Did Windows 95 come out in 95?
It did indeed.
Okay, well, I thought I would ask that stupid question just in case.
Not a highlight for you, I think, as a 3-year-old.
I would not have had that memory. My parents were not super tech savvy either, so I don't think that was their deal either.
Videodrome says, the Worst Witch had a magic school. That is a good point. Are you familiar with the Worst Witch?
I have literally no idea what that is. I'm so sorry.
We're going to have to watch some Worst Witch. It is a Halloween tradition. I will just put this out there. Tim Curry and a tambourine.
Oh, I feel like I've seen a viral video about this or something like that. Okay, well have. Then I'm so into this already.
Yes. That's my top recommendation for this stream is to watch Tim Curry and the Worst Witch. Let's see. Katra says, I once did a Harry Potter trivia quiz where I corrected the woman asking the questions. That's great.
That's when you know you're doing really well.
And you get huffy at the quiz master for being like, well, technically. Let's see. Harry Potter stole from 86's Troll. Really? The movie starring the kid who played Atreyu from the... Wait, was he really in that? I know Julia Louis-Dreyfus and Sonny Bono as... yes. Okay, I've gotten so distracted by so many references.
I know.
I don't even remember what it's about.
This is like I'm dizzy.
Harry Potter stole. What did it steal from 86's Troll? It is such a bizarre movie. The main character. Wait, really? The main character is Harry Potter? Really? James, is that true?
Yeah.
James is nodding. What?
I mean, the lead character Dave the Locust is Homer Simpson.
That is
They're
true.
Not the same thing.
Lead character Dave the Locust is Homer Simpson. 76 or 78, I think that movie came out. Really? How did I not know that Harry Potter is the name of the character in Troll? Anyway. Opposite says, to be sure, Harry Potter is a pretty common sort of name. I suppose. But in association with trolls? Anyway. Oh, Videodrome grew up with the Wuzzles, the Snorks, the Smurfs, 80s, Alvin and the Chipmunks, Jim and the Holograms. Okay, we are around the same region then. And also, I'm back. Hello, Nikki, says Rezel.
Hi.
Yay. Charles says, I'm 32, Transformers, Beast Wars. Okay, yep. Videodrome says, people have confirmed she stole Harry Potter from Troll. I own a copy of the film. There are other parallels. Harry gets a wand, enters a magical world to rescue his sister, the giant monster from an old medieval world. Huh. I mean, that is kind of... maybe that's what bothered me about Harry Potter when I was reading it. I was like, this is just so tropey. This is so many things from other fantasy things.
That's true. I guess it appealed to me in the sense that like I had no context and I didn't have any like really other cultural things that were like, oh yeah, like this is totally riffing on this. I'm like, this is a whole new world for me. How wild is this? So that probably has something to do with it.
So, like, I'm thinking back to like what are the books that I was obsessed with as a kid and like the things that kept me reading. I mean, for sure, like the series of like the Bobbsey Twins and Boxcar Children and the Hardy Boys. These are all series from like the 1950s, which makes me seem even older than I am.
Yeah.
But you know, that's just where I was raised.
Yeah,
the 1950s.
The honestly, one of the only other like series of books that did that for me was actually like this is kind of a guilty pleasure, but like the Hunger Games books. I was a really late adopter for those, and I was super skeptical, and I was like, like I don't really know, like is this all hype? Like what's the real deal? And I remember like I read the first one, and this was when all of them were like out by now, and I read the first one and I was like, I have to go to the bookstore and get the rest of them and read all of them. I am not joking you. I stayed up as long as I could, just like cramming all of the rest of the books in because I was like, there was just something about it where I was like, I have to find out what happens at the end. So honestly, that's like one of the only other like book series that really has like done it for me in terms of like, oh, like let's get to the start to the end really, really fast. Whether or not it's like, that must have been like teens too, so like whether or not I had like really developed any good taste is questionable, and maybe if I read it now I'd be like, why did you like that so much? But back then I was like couldn't get enough of it, and you could imagine my parents were probably like, sure, as long as you're reading, you know. I
mean, that's the thing, it's like, well, they're awfully violent, but they are words, so
true.
Charles says, I think Windows 95 disc had some extras that were music video from Weezer. Yes, that is true. And some sort of maze game.
No kidding.
That is absolutely true.
Well, Windows 95 had pretty good music taste back in the day.
That's true. What a weird thing. I wonder why that was there. Let's see. Oh, Fairuza Balk from The Craft Return to Oz was in The Worst Witch.
Who, by the way, with like 90s revival, like
Where's Fairuza Balk?
I'm obsessed with her. Like,
okay, yes.
She's like, I mean, The Craft is a 90s classic. So
I feel like that name has only come up in conversation in reference to the work that she did like 20 to 30 years ago. So I would love to see specifically a Fairuza Balk revival. Just put her in everything.
I mean, I'm here for it.
Yeah, absolutely. Uncle Dudley says, Worst Witch 80s movie is the best Worst Witch. Enjoy the modern BBC Netflix show, but 80s Tim Curry version is amazing.
You can never go wrong with a Tim Curry moment.
Absolutely.
In really anything.
Yeah. No, I'm like, I dare you to think of a role where Tim Curry is not fantastic.
Where you're not like, Tim Curry was like fine.
Right. He could do better. Like, I feel like there's some Glenn Close roles where you're just like, oh yeah, she was good. But like, with Tim Curry, it's always like, yes, he was giving everything.
Yeah.
Even that, like, have you seen that one where he's, it's from a video game where he's talking to the camera about space? It's fabulous. James, what's the line? He says something like, I'm going to the one place that hasn't been tainted by capitalism. Space! It's very good. Sonny Bono was not the lead in Trolls, says Videodrome. Maybe not the lead, but he was definitely there. I seem to recall him getting turned into a bush or something. I remember Animorphs, says Charles D.
I remember Animorphs. Although, if I'm being honest, I didn't really read the Animorphs. I just liked the book covers.
The covers are very distinctive.
They're super, super iconic. And I think I read like a few pages in and I was like, I'm just going to stare at the cover and pretend that I read the book.
Yeah. I'm good with the art.
Yeah, I did go through the like Goosebumps books, like pretty hardcore, but those were already out when I was like really starting to read, and like those in terms of like reading level, like I was like, oh, Harry Potter's like really like in depth, and like that other stuff is like for kids. And
Right.
so like Goosebumps was always like for me like, oh, that's for like the little kids. But especially with like the way, I mean, they have Goosebumps movies now, which I never would have ever suspected in a
Right.
million years. So that has its place too.
It does. There's a trailer that just came out that had evil gummy bears in it, like lots of little gummy bears that like all joined together to form a giant killer gummy bear. So, like, who knows what sort of imprinting kids are going to be doing on the horrors or fascination with that. Tim Curry and Charlie's Angels. Oh,
Yeah,
kind of wasting that to Torridon. I think you might be right about that. Yeah. Like, could have been better. Oh, Boxcar Children is 1924? Are you kidding me? Oh, Mr. T-Bone SF. Oh, how they ride in horse pulled sleighs? Yeah, I guess you're right. Although I will say, my dad just he wrote a little like autobiography, which was really wonderful. And he grew up in Brooklyn in the 40s and 50s, and they had horse-drawn carts in Brooklyn in the 40s and 50s that they would like. He had stories about like buying vegetables off the back of horse-drawn carts.
God.
And I was like, oh my goodness, this feels like 100 years ago, but it's within living memory. So, all right. Tim Curry was fantastic as a criminologist. Well, of course, the Rocky production Fox did 2 years ago. Not the best version of Rocky, I'm going to say, but
I didn't see it.
here's the thing is like, it's one of those remakes that were like, why did we need another one of these?
Well, and also the thing with Rocky Horror too is that like you haven't seen the movie unless you've seen it with other people at like the midnight showings. Like you technically have, especially if you like own the DVD or whatever and you watch it, but like, or I'm sorry, our DVD's too like outdated these days. But like you really haven't gotten the experience of watching the movie unless you've seen it in person. So really, I feel like any attempts to like remake it or re-release it in some way that doesn't involve some sort of live participation, like it's fine, but you're just never gonna quite get the full viewing experience unless you're seeing it at midnight in West Seattle with people who've been going for decades.
Yeah, and costumes,
Yeah.
the full thing. This is a question for the chat. Like, who is actually seeing a proper screening of Rocky Horror, like with a shadow cast yelling everything and all done up? I feel like that's kind of gone away. Like, I went to one in LA a couple years ago, and it was just like people sitting calmly in the audience while the Shadowcast folks were like marching up and down the aisles, but they'd been doing it for so long that they were just shouting it like kind of dead. Like it felt like James compared it to a Catholic mass where you're just reciting the Latin, but you don't really know what it means.
That's really good. I feel like it's regionally important. Like I feel like there are pockets of the country, or maybe even like entire like coasts of the country, or like where it's still very much a tradition and could go on a little bit more regularly. But I know that like in Seattle they do it monthly here, and that's pretty much like one of the only like the screening, at least. I haven't caught up with it yet, but like when I was growing up in Seattle, like the Admiral Theater in West Seattle was where you would go monthly to do it. And those people were really hardcore, but I definitely agree. Like I feel like it's not, especially over here in these parts, like it's not quite as huge of a thing, but I would be willing to bet that there are other parts that are keeping up with it a little bit more. Plus there's also like newer things like The Room, I feel like is one of those like culty sorts of movies where people are throwing things and reciting lines and stuff like that. So there's also like that where it's like I feel like other like pieces of media are starting to like, I don't know, get that sort of like cult status that are like maybe a little bit newer and fresher on people's minds. But Rocky Horror will always be like the one.
Right. I don't feel like The Room is anywhere near as fun. And also, like, I forget which studio it was, but whoever made Black Swan tried to do that, like, intentionally. Like, they hired drag queens and did midnight screenings and even wrote up lists of, like, things to shout at the screen. I mean, you can't force that, obviously.
You really can't.
Yeah.
I I don't know. I find The Room endlessly watchable. And I feel like I find Rocky Horror endlessly watchable, even by myself. So I feel like it has to have that sort of element to it on its own. Otherwise, people aren't going to show up weekly or monthly to yell things at a screen that won't talk to them back.
Oprazine saw, this is an amazing experience, Rocky Horror before there was any audience talk back. Went because one of the group had seen the play in London and there were 20 people in the audience. Wow. So, I mean, it sounds very hipster, but like you liked it before it was cool.
That's really cool.
What an amazing experience. Like, and then like afterwards when it started to turn into a thing, were you like, really? What's the big deal? Okay, I guess. Because I feel like if some movie that I saw that nobody else liked, suddenly everyone was dressing up for, I'd be like, all right, where were you jerks like a year ago when this movie was actually like first in theaters? Because Rocky Horror was a bomb. Like, it did terrible when it first came out.
Oh, yeah. That's how... But see, like, really good... I feel like really good camp... A lot of times, like, has that initial sort of, like, oh, man, like, how could they ever put this out? And then, like, with so many years later, we get, like, perspective. And then we're like, oh, actually, this is... really good. Like I feel that way with like Showgirls, where
Yes.
I feel like at first people were like, oh man, this movie sucks and like doesn't do very well, and like now I feel like I see Showgirls drag shows all the time, like people know the lines, and it's one of those things where like with time there are some things that come right back around, and we're able to appreciate them for what they are.
It's such a pleasure. Like so I can't remember. Oh, the first time I saw it, wow, was as a talkback at the Castro Theater. So I'd never seen Showgirls. I knew all the like people talked about it. I was hired to photograph this event, and I think it was actually called Night of 1,000 Showgirls. Oh, that's right, Night of 1,000 Nomis. And so everyone was instructed to come dressed up as Nomi. So there wasn't quite 1,000, but they got everyone. It was Heclina, and I think Peaches was like hosting. They got everybody up on stage so you could see everybody's Nomi costume, and then they sent them out into the audience to do lap dances for people in the audience. There was one woman who came up on stage, and she was wearing, this is gonna be hard to describe, but she was wearing what looked like a giant full body like shield. Like it was sort of this like shape that curved around her with a hole cut out here, and there was like, it was black with like gold streaks painted on it. And she gets up there, and Heclina's like, it's supposed to be Nomi Malone, not Klaus Nomi, which, great. Fabulous.
Thank you for that crossover.
Yes. And then she's like, what are you? And she's like, I am the fingernail that Nomi Malone paints before getting her revenge. The audience goes wild at this. It was so good. Because there's that famous shot of her like painting her nails at the very end, and she paints all her nails like this crazy gold thing.
That is the kind of thing that I live for. Recently I did a Sex and the City themed drag show, which, you know, great, just drag queens doing Sex and the City, like, of course. But I'm the kind of person where if I'm gonna do a theme show, it has to be something that I already really, really like. And when I do a theme show, I really try to go like for the deep cut so that the people who are there are like, oh, like I totally see that. So when I did the theme show, I did a Samantha number just because I love Samantha so much. But then my second number was the party girl from that one episode who falls out of the building.
Played by Kristen Johnson, I think?
I think so. She's like, New York's not fun anymore. And she's like doing drugs and like chain smoking indoors when all these high society people are like, you can't do that in here. And that's only like one episode. Like that character really only lasts for that amount of time, but it's such an iconic moment for like real fans of the show that it was really fun to have like 2 or 3 people come up and be like, I was hoping someone would do that. So that's the kind of stuff that I live for.
Great. Yeah. The more obscure. I mean, that's, somebody recently defined camp for me, and I don't know about this definition, but I think it's an interesting thing to think about as an emphasis on the wrong details.
Yes.
And I really love that. Like I'm gonna take this one character that nobody really remembers or cares about except the crazy fans.
Yeah. I think my favorite camp is always camp that isn't aware that it's camp.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Because I feel like sometimes people are like, we're gonna make this like really campy, and it's like, okay, but like you know that you're like trying to be funny or like trying to be campy, and I don't know, my favorite camp classics are the ones that were like really trying so hard that like
Exactly.
It was funny.
Yeah. Mr. T-Bone says camp finds a way. Yeah. And Videodrome says Black Swan is a disaster. I don't know if I mean, it has to be a very particular kind of disaster is the thing. Charles D says that they saw Rocky Horror when it was playing on VH1. They blurred out certain bits towards the end.
That's really good.
It's not even that. I mean,
Oh my gosh, the Clue underappreciated at first too.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, the flames on the side of my
That
face.
line,
Come
yeah.
on, like that is an instant classic.
I hated her so much. Oh gosh, Madeline, like it's. I think so. Clue, like the writing in Clue, I think is like it's sort of a B minus.
Yeah.
But and, like the jokes are kind of like okay, but the cast is so A plus plus plus.
I mean, you can't go wrong with Madeline Kahn, like, ever.
In anything. She's never been. It's never been a bad Madeline Kahn.
My parents showed me Young Frankenstein when I was probably way too young for it. But they were like, it's a PG rated movie, so it's fine, right? And like, no, that's before PG-13 was invented. So like, it was really not age appropriate for when I saw it. But I just remember like Madeline Kahn just like really stole the show from so many other folks in that movie. And I mean, did so in Clue in a lot of ways. And so
Right, and What's Up, Doc?
Yeah.
And, is Paper Moon, is that the one that she's in? It's like a black and white film where she plays a dramatic role in that one. It's like not a comedy, but
whoa.
Again, just brilliant. Oh, here, so she's in the movie The Adventures of Young Sherlock Holmes.
Okay.
No. James, do I have that right? No, it's...
Something like The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes' famous younger brother.
Yeah, the movie...
Holmes or something.
Sherlock Holmes' smarter younger brother. It's something like that is the title of the film. It is terrible. It is a terrible, terrible movie. It's Gene Wilder and Marty Feldman and Madeline Kahn, and it should be amazing. It is... and Dom DeLuise. It is super not funny. But there is one scene where Marty Feldman and I keep wanting to call him Gene Hackman, Gene Wilder and Madeline Kahn are like having this very tense interrogation scene where she's like come to like hire him as a private investigator. He's like, he like sees through her disguise and he knows that she's not quite who she said she was. And he's like, if you're really a singer, or if you're really an entertainer, whatever she claimed to be, then you would know this song. And he like puts his elbow down on the piano and it plays a key, it plays a chord, and he starts to sing, and it's so strange. And there's this like burning, this intensity between the two characters. And then suddenly there's like a moment of like da 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 da, and they start singing this like super goofy like bunny hop song, and there's like all of a sudden they know the choreography, they know the words. The movie is not a musical. There's no other moment in the movie like this, and they just completely sell it. Terrible movie, wonderful scene.
Which gay intern forced that moment into the movie? They're like, you know what would be really good?
Right, yeah. We gotta have a musical now. My solution to everything.
Oh my goodness.
Let's see. Great. Most famous line from Clue is improvised. Was it improvised? Oh my gosh. Was the flames line? Flames? It feels so like naturalistic. Jokes in Clue are a touch on the airplane side. They try anything in the name. I mean, I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Sherlock's smarter brother, Oprazine says. That's it.
There you
That's
go.
It. Madeline Kahn.
Airplane was one of those for me growing up where I was like, I mean, I knew that movie so well. I could I could recite the whole thing along with the movie from start to finish. And it really, I recently watched it and was like, oh my God, like this would so not fly in 2018, like to use a term. But back in the day, oh boy, that was one of those like, so stupid it's funny, and it like, you know, it just doesn't. I would not laugh at it today in the same way that I would have laughed at it back then. But Clue definitely has that like feel to it for sure.
And you know Steven Stucker, who plays Johnny, the extremely flamboyant. I don't even know what to call him exactly. Man in the airport. He's just like a guy hanging out in the airport, basically. But he's the one who's like, Johnny, what do you make of this? Well, I can make a hat or a brooch or a pterodactyl.
Oh my goodness, so influential.
Yes.
For every gay person like ever.
Iconic. He's, you know, like the, what does he say? Oh, something like, well, the passengers in the airplane are comatose, so they can't feel any pain. And he just like leans in and is like, just like Gerald Ford.
And like to be real, like that movie like does paint that character in a way that's like, oh, like kind of whatever, like you say your thing and we'll move on. And like it's not the most like empowering thing in the world, but I mean, is Airplane a movie about like
empowerment?
empowerment?
Yeah.
I don't necessarily.
That was Steven. Like that was just him. They set him loose on set. They were like, just tell some jokes, because they knew him from like Kentucky Fried Theater, I think was the name of their improv group, and so they were just like, just make stuff up. And so that's him just making stuff up. And God bless him. He appeared on, I want to say it might have been Donahue or something, to talk like more seriously about HIV in the 80s. And again, he's like articulate and funny and super queer and just like flamboyant and gay and wonderful. Yeah, he's just a hero.
I think I've only seen like Airplane with him in it, so I'm sounds like I'm gonna
Very
have to
few
like
things,
check some more stuff out.
You can find him on YouTube in that like talk show appearance, and he's in Kentucky Fried Movie as a court transcriptionist. And so he's like in a courtroom scene, he's like, you know, doing like, he's got the little thing where he's taking notes on what they're saying. But of course, he's just going like this. It's just magical.
That sort of like natural like charisma and humor is, I absolutely live for it.
Charles D cites some more campy hero. Oh, the kangaroo hop. That's the name of it. Camp tradition in the tradition in the UK. Mr. Humphreys.
Yep.
Kenneth Williams. What a hero, Kenneth Williams. There's a wonderful, if you can find it on YouTube, Kenneth Williams talking to Stephen Fry, and it is just such a gay delight. Let's see, kind of like, ooh, yeah, like racist Halloween costumes, Airplane.
Yeah,
is sort of what it's like.
Yeah,
like,
it's like, yeah, today I'm just like, oh, why did I find that funny, and why did anyone find that funny? But it does have its moments.
Yes, yes. Charles D says, I was too young to watch Airplane. Wasn't there a woman who started puking whole
Yes.
Yes.
Among other things.
And I thought it was a horror movie because it was so bothersome. Yeah. A friend hosted an Airplane themed party a few years back. That's such a great idea. Oh, another friend named Johnny went as Johnny. I lived and I died. Oh, that's so good.
That's perfect.
Mayday? Why, that's the Russian New Year.
There's a sale at Penny's.
Yes. Oh God! I had a friend in San Francisco who loved, like, it's the dumbest. Speaking of obscure, focus on the wrong detail. Whenever he could work it into the conversation, Johnny has this line that makes no sense, where they say something like, "The airplane's getting lower," and he jumps into frame and goes, "And Leon's getting larger." What does it mean? Nothing.
No.
It's so good.
It's it's the way he sells it.
Yeah.
Is like so weird.
Oh, that reminds me of Hardcore Spaceballs and the scene that parodies Alien, the chestburster scene. I had no idea what Alien was in the mid to late 80s when I saw Spaceballs. And that scene, yes.
Yeah,
that made me sick.
Context is important.
Yes. And Uncle Deadly says Steven Stucker's talk show appearances were both inspiring and heartbreaking. Yeah, one of the first actors who's out as Paz.
Aww.
He was such a great. I mean, he's one of those actors who I'm like, oh. I mean, it makes you think about, like, so much was lost, but also, like, I just wish we could have been friends. I wish he was alive today.
Yeah.
And what, like, just such a great guy. He reminds me a bit of, and I can't remember the actor's name or the movie he was in, so this is going to be a very useful cultural reference. James, what is it called? 1960s. It's the movie where the two guys pose as gay to dodge the draft, and they wind up with a gay roommate. It's the movie that has that famous line where the woman's leaving the house.
The Gay Deceivers.
Gay Deceivers. That's it. You may have seen this clip on YouTube. This woman's leaving a house and she's mad at them for some reason. And he runs out. This actor who's playing very flamboyant runs out and he's like, he says something like, "Look what you've done to my begonias." And she turns around and she says, "They're peonies."
Yes. I've seen this this clip.
Moment, yeah. And someone says, "My God, I think she's right. They are peonies." And he says, "I may not know much about flowers, but I know a bitch when I see one." It's so good. So that actor played super gay in everything and just was that guy. Again, not the best representation, not the most empowering, but also there's just something really wonderful about seeing someone who's like a big old queen and just lives in it.
Yeah.
What a pleasure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Also, adjacent to that is, do you know Madam, the puppet? Okay, so this is one of those things from the 1970s that you're like, why did people like this? But it was popular? Okay, 70s. So Madam was this character, she was a puppet, performed by a man named Waylon Flowers.
That's a drag name if I've ever heard
I
one.
mean, Malcolm was his name, yes. An early sort of drag mother. Yeah. And so so the Madame character is like this grande dame with like, she's got a turban with feathers and she's got acerbic remarks. And for some reason on a variety show, there's this clip on YouTube that I see go around on gay Twitter every couple of months of her singing with B. Arthur, which, great. But she's just like always got like some dirty, cackling, she's just a gay icon of the 1970s. Recently revived a few years ago by whoever holds the like estate of Waylon Flowers. And so you can occasionally see her pop up on stuff and at live appearances in LA. Bizarrely, I just saw him bring her to a drag show once, this drag strip, which doesn't exist anymore. And it was just a guy at this drag show in a bar in Silver Lake with a puppet. With like with rods on the hands, like interacting with people and like making catty remarks.
You know, as one is wont to do.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, and Opera says Madame would do blue material. Yeah, she was a bit dirty. Like she was a libidinous old lady was basically her thing.
I mean, same.
Yeah, yes,
I can relate.
It's one of those things of like gay men being like, oh, that is what I want to grow up to be, Madam. Bizarre. Why is of course. Why is this making you think of Paul Lynde? Says John Newman. Yes, indeed. I mean, he's another one. Like, how Paul Lynde fluent are you?
Not.
Okay. So, but are you familiar with who he is?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Templeton the Rat and Uncle Arthur on Bewitched and the Center Square Forever. Mm-hmm. Oh, and Emily says, I just saw The Gay Deceivers 2 days ago. What? That's such a great coincidence. 2 people thought of Uncle Arthur at the same time. And Steve Carell. Oh, Steve Carell? Steve Carell did a good job channeling Lynn's Queenie essence for the movie. I have not seen the movie. And Videodrum says Waylon Flowers and Waylon Smithers. A connection? I wouldn't be surprised, because a lot of those like Simpsons writers grew up right in that sweet spot of like that era of comedy. So you see a lot of references to that time in early Simpsons. So I wouldn't be surprised. In 90s Russia, there was a drag comedy duo that impersonated 2 delusional old ladies. They were very funny. Is that what Verka Serduchka comes out of? Familiar with this character? Ukrainian, I think. Ukrainian drag queen. She won, I think, Eurovision a couple years ago.
Oh, wow.
And so just like very flamboyant, weird, like all in like glittery silver with a bizarre hat and giant sunglasses and a handbag. And I forget what song she did, but yeah, just like weird Balkan drag queen that iconic. Madam would say she and her husband had to divorce because they couldn't work it out. And the one time they worked it out, he worked it back in again. Jeez. Okay. Rezel says, no relation. I would love, Rezel, tell me more about those drag queens. Have you seen Sniff, Swig, Puff? B. Arthur and Rock Hudson sing about drugs, and amyl nitrate was just some guy's name. That's great. Verka Serduchka is separate, a greedy train conductor in her first comedy show. What?
That is some really sweet, obscure knowledge. Great job.
Wow.
That's good.
What, okay, so I need to go look that up. Oh, she's a bit like, who's the British performer who calls purple hair and is like, hello, possums? Do you know the one? Dame Edna.
Oh, yeah.
So I think Verka's a little Dame Edna, but Russian. Charles says, B. Arthur, not Bear Arthur. Although Bear Arthur, what a great drag king name.
Is a good drag name.
Okay, just hang on to that. Welcome to the stage, Bear Arthur.
Oh my god.
Hello. And now my train of thought goes to Shields and Yarnell. Oh, I know Shields and Yarnell. Who is that? Another cultural reference that I should have. Like, that's a should with a question mark on it. But there are times. I was about to Google Bear Arthur. Shields and Yarnell are... Oh. Yes, why do I know them? Robert Shields and Lorraine Yarnell.
An American Mime Team.
Yes, that's why I know them, because they were on The Muppet Show. There was an episode of them on The Muppet Show, and that's what I recognized them
There
from.
you go.
The only Shields I know is Brooke, says Videodrome TV. I had a friend in... I'm sure we all recall the show Suddenly Susan, starring Brooke Shields. You would have been 4.
I know of it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So Brooke Shields, also a guest on The Muppet Show. So she had the show in the 90s, Suddenly Susan. And so when this was topical, sort of, I had a friend in college who would just like, if there was a lull in conversation, go, I'm Susan.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah. Maybe like 30% of the room would get it, but it was enough. That was the same group of friends who, like, one of them, as I recall, had a joke that was like, I'm not like ha ha funny. I'm more like, does this fish smell funny? So, okay, yes, I get the brand there. Oh, Rezel says the other drag show was on a Russian crooked mirror comedy show called The New Russian Old Hags. Maroon Velour would be my drag name, says John. I dress up like Shirley Partridge.
Oh my gosh.
Maroon Velour is a great drag name. Translation is slightly too literate by me, though, says Rezel. Honestly, I love that. New Russian Old Hags. Great. Oh, that's right. Kathy Griffin was on that show.
Okay. I will say, Kathy Griffin was someone who, like, I remember watching, like, bootlegs of the Bravo comedy specials on YouTube, and, like, I'm talking, like, over and over and over again, to the point where there, I think, are certain ones where I could repeat the whole thing, like, verbatim.
Straight through.
Yeah, and again, like, some of those, especially the earlier specials, like, wouldn't necessarily play well in 2018, but, like, definitely had that sort of, like gay friendly, like, snark sort of wit and very, like, quick delivery, but also, like, referencing pop culture. And I remember, like, seeing all of those and being like, wow, like, this is someone who speaks to me in ways that, like, I hadn't seen a lot of other people do. And so, like, she was, like, my gateway into, like, Margaret Cho's work, and, like, other folks like Tig Notaro, and, like, all of those people who, like, really, like, I mean, obviously are, like, working in, like, stand-up comedy, which is a medium that has its own sort of mainstream, but to see people, like, who are really, like, critical of larger institutions, but also, like, aren't afraid of, like, a dick joke about a celebrity, like, that was, I don't know, I feel like that really spoke to me then and has influenced a lot of my work these days.
There was so much great comedy happening, like, really, like, wonderful women comics at a time when they faced so many challenges because of the institution, like, that still exists, that, you know, disfavors their work. But yeah, I remember the same thing in college. I discovered Margaret Cho through a friend, and I was just obsessed to the point that my parents were like, who is this woman that you have all over everything? Because I had, like, a Margaret Cho poster, and I had, like, a Margaret Cho, like, CD, and I had some other Margaret Cho thing. They're like, who is this? Like, they noticed that, like, my obsession. Nicholas says, 100% I can hear Kathy saying, where are my gays at the top of each special. And Rezel says, Verkus Andrews' real-life wife plays her insane mother in her drag shows.
What?
That's great.
The family that drags together stays together.
Yeah. Charles says you should look up Riley Silverman. I will add that to my list. Riley Silverman. Writer and stand-up.
I love this. 100% I can hear Kathy saying, where are my gays at the top of each special. Yeah, when she, like, does the roll call and then she gets to the straight guys and she's like, I have nothing for you. Yeah. Every time. It's pretty. I have not. Actually, now that I think about it, I've never seen her live. She, like, comes through Seattle all the time, but I've never seen her in person. I've seen Margaret Cho once. But all those people, like, exist on, like, TV and, like, YouTube for me.
Yeah. I'm, you know, only a few degrees away from Kathy through, like, the LA gays. So when I lived in LA, I just happened to know people who worked in entertainment because that was the field that I was, you know, the crowd I was running in. And one of them, Dennis Hensley, was very close to her, like, worked for her and was her joke writer and everything, and appeared on, like, the first season, I think, of My Life on the D-List? Was that her show?
Yeah.
And so I've always been looking for, like, some reason to, like, just mention to Dennis, like, oh, I'd love to interview Kathy for something. Like, there's never been, like, a good enough ask that's come along.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Have I had? I don't know. No, I have. Dennis, past Sewers of Paris guest.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Kathy Griffin is amazing. She doesn't coast for a second. She, you know, that is somebody, like, whenever you see her, it always feels like she is giving 100%. Like,
yeah.
There's no phoning it in.
That's what I've heard from people who like go to her live shows. Apparently she like goes on and on and on and like does not stop and goes for like a really, really long amount of time. I don't go to a lot of stand-up, so I don't really know what a standard is necessarily, but I've heard people who were like, yeah, she went on for like a really long amount of time and was just like going and going and going, which I really appreciate someone who just has enough material to like work off of that they could just like pull anything right off the top of their head and work with it in a really brilliant way.
I mean, that's the thing. It's like being sharp enough. Because like there's some days where you're just like, you know, like you just don't want, I don't want to have to think, or I'm fried from like some other show that I did, but she's on tour so much. Like just to be, you know, mentally, like to have the acuity to...
Well, and I think it speaks to her, like preparation level and her like level of like practice and dedication to her craft, because I feel like whenever she goes, especially on like the big like talk shows, like I remember like some of her interviews with like Letterman and like on those like late night shows. I mean, every single time she steps on those shows, she is like the most prepared. All they have to do is ask her one question. She's talking and talking and talking the whole time, but also plugging her shit and like selling whatever she has to sell. And I'm just really impressed by that, as opposed to someone who's like, I don't know, just like sits on the couch and they're like give 1 or 2 word answers.
Right.
And that's about it. She's got it all taken care of and knows what she's talking about.
Just on.
I think that's really impressive.
You know, somebody who like kind of surprised me in like, you know, not to say that like everyone has an obligation like when they go on a, you know, to always be entertaining at all hours of the day, but I've forgotten her name. Who's the woman who played Rosanna Dana and Emily Latella? She was on Saturday Night Live in the 1970s. Gene Wilder's wife. Gilda Radner. Gilda Radner.
It's so funny because like all of those like references are not, but if you had like told me like, oh, like answering the door for the shark, like
yes.
I would have been like, oh,
Land
okay,
shark.
I know exactly who
Yes.
that is.
Yes. So Gilda Radner, very shy, very quiet, like a lot of comedians, you know, like on stage, pow, but like off stage, like behind the scenes, just like quiet and shy. So there's some appearance where she's on Dave Letterman, and she brought her dog with her. Her dog knows a few tricks, and she's trying to get her dog to do tricks. And she is so quiet and mousy and adorable and just a terrible guest because the dog isn't doing the tricks. And it's like they don't know what to talk about, and it feels awkward. Like it feels like a guest that won't leave your house. So she was like just the worst Letterman guest. So funny and so electric when she's in character.
Glurba. I'm another drag name, Glurba Radner.
Yeah. I'm surprised I was able to get Gilda as quickly as I did. You were about to be treated to like 20 minutes of Gilda Goldfarb.
That's one of my favorite like things about you is your like misremembering of like very important like names.
I can't tell you how like it tortures me. What, you know, I was telling somebody the other day, like the time that I was trying to remember Bridget Jones' Diary and called it Julie Brownback in the Book of Lies.
That's a better title for
Honestly,
that book and movie. I would go see that over the original for sure.
I don't even remember. Was it Lily Tomlin that I called Clindantaramp?
Yes.
And there was the American President, which I called the White House in Repose. It's just the worst is like when it takes me forever to come up with these names. Bernadette Peters used to be one, but now I can remember Bernadette Peters by imagining Terrence Stamp in Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, where his character was named Bernadette. I can't remember Bernadette Peters just by thinking about her, but I can remember her by thinking about Priscilla.
See, that's where you've lost me, because Priscilla is like the very like that very like loopy sort of like reference point is like not where I grew up in musical theater, doing musical theater, so like when I think like Bernadette Peters, I've got like the long list of like, oh well, she was in this revival and she was in this production and you may have seen her in this concert and. Mm-hmm. Bernadette Peters for me sticks on her own.
Yes. Yeah, as she should. But for some reason, Bernadette Peters is just one of those names that I have to like think laterally through 5 different other things to get to her. Right. Yeah. Oh, and Gilda Radner, Uncle Dudley says another Muppet Show guest. Yeah, I'm going to name them all before the stream ends. Yeah, Beverly Sills, the opera singer. I know all the obscure ones. What was the mom on the Brady Bunch? Uh-oh. What was her name? Eleanor Parkinson's. Nope. Anyway, we're not going to spend a million years trying to remember the name of the mom of the Brady Bunch. Helza...
I'm liking where this is going already.
Helza Poppin was the name I was going to come up with. What a drag name. Please welcome to the stage, Helza Poppin.
You know what the best drag name I've ever come up with is? And I haven't seen anyone use it, and I'm really hoping that someone does. The best drag name I've ever come up with is Marsha. like without a doubt. Like, that's my crowning jewel. I don't have anything else to give to the drag community. I just need someone to take that name and run with it.
That's so good.
Is that not so perfect?
Yeah. Florence Henderson, says Nicholas Crest. Thank you. Not Eleanor Parkinson. Lawrence Henderson's. Estelle Parkins, the name of the grandmother of Roseanne. Yes. Maybe that's where I was going. I don't know. Son of a Pizza Man says, hey from Chicago. Hello.
Hi, Chicago.
Yay. Oh, and Gilda Radner did the voice of the witch in Witch's Night Out. Great 70s animated Halloween special. Oh, okay. I'm not familiar with that one. I'm going to add that to my list. Witch's Night Out. Not a lot of like great enduring Halloween specials. There's so many like Christmas and holiday specials, but not quite so many Halloween ones like of TV shows. Witch's Night Out. When I was there was a period where I was working at the Jim Henson Company, and I remember like this mission that we were on. It was around, when was it? It was probably around May or so that they were like, this memo from the CEO was going around, and because I was an intern, I photocopied everything for everybody, and I saw this memo, and she was like, there's really no enduring TV show Halloween special, and it would be great if we could make a made-for-TV movie with the Muppets that was like a Halloween special that would play every year. And I still don't think that's happened, so oh well for that, but...
I mean, Seattle likes to do this thing where we do like holiday shows that are like gay traditions like every single year, and so like... Right now we have a Halloween show. We always have a Christmas show. I feel like we've
got like 4 coming up.
I feel like every holiday is pretty much like spoken of, but that's for like live performance. I'm with you. I'd love to see like something more on the like TV movie sort of like.
And it's not for lack of trying, because like was it Brian Singer who did like the Mockingbird Lane, the 1313 Mockingbird Lane, the Munsters revival a few years ago? That was kind of good. It had Eddie Izzard and Portia de Rossi.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It was actually pretty good. As this great line where, I may be wrong about Portia de Rossi, but it has this great line where like Lily Munster says something like, oh, what will the neighbors think? And Eddie Izzard's character says something like, the neighbors should be more worried about what I'm thinking. Great. Uncle Dilly says I'm collecting drag names for a book, and now I totally want to steal Marsha.
You can have it. It's all yours.
Let's see. Give that name a 4th Marsha, and we'll ascend.
It's very like Beetlejuice or like Candyman. Like don't go into the bathroom and stay out of the mirror, otherwise Marsha will appear.
Marsha, but you don't know which Marsha it's gonna be.
Yeah.
Charles D says, we watched Into the Woods in high school. Imagine our surprise when the wolf had an erection. Yeah, that is, I assume you're talking about the Mandy Patinkin version, where it is a pretty graphic wolf costume, as I recall. There's, yeah. Paul Lynde Halloween special, definitive Halloween special. Okay, here's the thing, though. It's terrible. Campy. Oh, hilarious.
Shots fired.
Yes. Great cast again. It's like the opening is like, welcome to the Paul Lynde Halloween special, starring with special guest stars Betty White, Kiss. Like it's got what's her name who played the Wicked Witch of the West. That's not another Marsha, is it? No, it's not. It's who played the Wicked Witch of the West. I'm not gonna remember.
It's all good.
Oh well, the woman who played the Wicked Witch of the West. Brian.
What do you think her name is?
What?
What do you think?
It's here we go.
Oh, Stella Wartface. Nope. It's
please welcome to the stage, Stella Wartface.
No, it's there's
look at the
M.
screen. They're suggesting things.
I don't want to look. I don't want to look in case anyone says.
Right. Sorry.
I know there's an M. Marley Jacobs.
Jacob Marley.
Oh, that's yes. Marley Jacobs. No, it's Miss Half a Teacup. What? No, Mistaken Identity. Yes, there you go.
Please welcome to the stage, Mistaken Identity.
No, Mernal Equinox.
Is this Matt? You're like a walking like dry name generator today.
I know, it's because my brain is broken.
That's really good.
No, have yourself a merry little Martha. It's Hamilton. I know there's a Hamilton. Helen Hamilton. Eleanor Hamilton. Vaccinate your Hamiltons. Hammy marbles? Hammy marmalade. Sweet old Hammy marmalade. That's her name. Marvelous Margaret Hamilton. Margaret Hamilton.
Marvelous was good.
Marvelous Hamilton. There we go. That's her.
Wow.
Anyway, I don't remember what I was going to say about her, but
Great, well done.
I brought her up for some reason.
I need a live stream of just like Matt tries to guess names.
Oh no.
Matthew, I actually texted you some of your greatest hits.
Oh, James has texted me some great
You
hits.
can actually remember what
Oh
you were trying to
no!
What a trauma.
Whenever Matt posts these on Facebook, I like have to stop whatever I'm doing and just like laugh by myself.
Oh God.
At my phone.
Yeah, so James has posted, let's see. Oh, no, but James, these are terrible because you don't include who I was trying to think of.
Exactly.
Okay, so can you guess who I was trying to think of with
Oh,
these
no.
names? June Frampton. This is one person I'm trying to think of, the one celebrity. Oh, appropriately, the Hallelujah chorus has just started playing. I'm going to turn that down just a bit so it doesn't drown me out. Okay, what celebrity was I trying to think of? June Frampton, Holly Magali, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Karen Kaman, Bertha Tumbledown, Cole Mollywobble, Q-Last, Cubic Andrea, Joust Princess, Mouth Lady Hogwarts, Opal Widely, Nora Mortar, Corey Fackles, Stony Mackerel, Golly Flapjacks, Tony Skipperton, Julie Moorcock, Joan Bollins, Hope It's Not Joan, Joan Cooper, and Joan Backpack. I think I was getting very close at the end there.
Yeah.
Yeah, Joan Backpack's pretty close.
Wait, is this all for one person?
This is all one person.
What? Okay, I thought this was like a list of like...
Oh no. This is all one. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Was it Joan Collins, James?
No.
Okay. Joan Cusack?
Yeah.
Okay. I was trying to think of Joan Cusack and came up with Bertha Tumbledown, Opal Widely, Golly Flapjacks, Hope It's Not Joe.
Golly Flapjacks is actually closer than you would think.
And I don't know why.
You got the ack.
That's it. It's always like parts of the vowel sounds that gets me close. Yes, Nicholas says, welcome to the stage, Hammy Marmalade. Someone says, Wicked Witch actress name was Billy something. When I saw Children of the Corn, there's a reference to the Wicked Witch in the film. Huh. Flower Punk says, what are your thoughts on different sex marriage? I find it strange, but I'm trying to understand it. All for it. So many things turning over their graves, says John. It's true. It's true.
Sorry.
T-Bone says, I would argue Worst Witch is a definitive Halloween special. Personal, more obscure would be Pumpkin Moon. I don't know that one.
Huh.
Videodrome is Googling Pumpkin Moon. I'll look that up.
We're going to be Googling Pumpkin Moon, too.
Pumpkin Moon, also a good drag name. Shelley Winters. Yeah, sure. I was afraid it would turn out to be a 2000-something. Millennial Halloween specials are, well, they leave something to be desired.
Halloween Town on Disney Channel.
I don't know it.
What?
I'm too
okay,
old.
this is, okay, I try not to be that kind of person where it's like, you haven't seen this, but oh my gosh, like, sorry, Disney Channel was my, like, sort of deal, and oh my gosh, Halloween Town and Halloween Town 2, oh my goodness gracious, like, do it.
Okay, it's on the list.
It's probably not good.
That's the thing. You know, there's not a lot of quality on the Disney Channel, but there was a certain era where it was just like a cultural touchstone, like everybody just knew, like, oh yeah, that thing.
Oh my goodness, that's So Raven, Xenon
Okay.
Girl of the 21st Century, like High School Musical, like it's so gay. I know that people like rag on Disney for not being very, but like Disney Channel is really deeply gay.
It's true. Kenny Ortega, director of High School Musical, was almost abducted when he was a young man. He was in a stage version of Hair. They were touring, and they went into It was in North Carolina, I think, and like a group of people tried to abduct the cast because they felt that hair was too blasphemous. So, holy Toledo.
Wow.
Yes. Let's see. I feel like Golly Flapjacks would do well in Minnesota Drag Club. Yes, yes. Matt, you're hardly older than me, says Uncle Deadly, and I was a fan of Halloween Town. And yes, Xenon, Zetus Lepidus.
Zeus Lapidus.
Okay. I mean, I'll give it a shot. What's the one with Bette Midler and Sarah Jessica Parker? Well, Hocus Pocus. I mean, that's another one that I feel like if you didn't see it when you were the right age, then it might not be your thing.
Yeah, I feel like Hocus Pocus is like a cultural phenomenon for like this many people.
Yeah. Also had Doug Jones, who I was just reading about yesterday because we were watching Star Trek. I had Disney Channel back when you had to pay for it. I remember that. When it was Dumbo Circus, Welcome to Who Corner, Adventures in Wonderland, that one that Rantasmo mentioned. I mean, Rantasmo did Descendants, but I'm sure that's not what you're talking about. Oh, something Avalon something. Yeah, that sounds... Avalon Hill? Do you know the DCOM movie 13th Year?
I don't know what that is, but maybe it sounds like I should.
Yes. Deeply gay movie in the early 2000s. Is that the one about the mermaid, that when the boy turns 13, he becomes a mer creature? I think that's what you're talking about. Considered a gay allegory. Is definitely like... There's a lot of coming out in that movie, if we're thinking of the same thing. And a lot of adult mermaids, people who live a mermaid lifestyle in their lives, have referenced that movie to me. They're basically furries, but mermaids, as being something that was very formative to them.
Wow.
Goonies is similar. If you watch it in the 80s, iconic and legendary, watch it for the first time now, you do not get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how I would probably, especially like Halloween Town, that's probably the sort of thing where like, I don't think I'd be into it like today, but like that was so, it's like a you had to be there sort of moment.
Yep. I'm that way with Danger Mouse. I loved Danger Mouse as a kid, and like I tried to watch it again. I was like, oh no, this can't go on. This is not good. Brezel says, two of the queerest USSR cartoons are The Treasure Island. Look up pictures, you'll know why. And The Adventures of Captain Vrungle. Okay.
Wow.
Russian stuff.
We got a lot of like Russian like sorts of influence going on today. I'm like really into that.
Vrungel. Let's look that up. The Treasure Island. Oh, okay. Before we do, can you guess the celebrity I was trying to identify when I said these names? Tippy Arnaz, Mimi Go South, Helga Bottomfruit, Karina Hailstorm, Wendy Goman Cheese, Lady Beth Winders, Angela Behind Her, Heather Raps, Queen of the Meat, Leaky Drawers, Meaty Feet, Felicia Fleas, Karen of the Dance, Steamboat Mary, Christine Fluffinfold, Christine Bean Around, and Queasty B. Must be a Christine Ebersole? James?
It's a good guess. No.
Christine Baranski?
Yes, but no.
There's a lot of E's.
This is all one person.
This is all one person. Jean Stapleton?
Further away.
Christine... Who's other famous Christines? Christine... Teen Christine? Uh-oh. Something's breaking, James. Something's happening in my head. I don't even know who I'm trying to talk about. And so I'm coming up with new Christines.
You tried to talk about Wendy Gomancheese.
Wendy Gomancheese.
Or Helga Bottomfruit.
Christine Baranski and Christine Applebottom are the only two I can think of. Wait, Christine Applebottom isn't a real person. Christine Taylor? Christina Applegate?
No, also the neighborhood.
Christy Swanson?
The last name on that list is probably going to get you the closest.
The last name is going to get me the closest? Queasty Wee?
Yep.
Queasty Wee?
Yeah.
Queasty. Christy. Okay, so Christy.
You're getting close.
Lee?
Sounds are there. Vowel sounds.
Christ alive?
Christ alive is getting close.
No, Christy. Lee Merriweather.
What's the last name you had there on the list?
Queasty Wee.
Yeah. Now say maybe Christy Wee?
Christy Wee. Christy Wee.
You're saying the same thing.
Christy Weed. Christy. Wet?
Oh.
Christy Wheat? Christy Feet?
You had a feet in there. You had meaty feet.
I had meaty feet. I should see a doctor about it. Christy...
I think the live chat people might have it.
I'm afraid to look. But I'm not...
Turning off a lamp?
Liza Minnelli.
That's the one.
Yep.
The live chat totally has it.
But Christy...
This is so much funnier now that I know.
What?
You know this person.
I'm sure I do.
Intimately. Not really, but like I feel like we talked about her. You watched a video of her last night. You watched
That doesn't narrow it down.
Yes, no, the actress who is very funny in Bridesmaids.
She did the video where she was not a witch.
She did the video where she's not a witch.
Hello, I am not a witch.
Like most people. I'm like you, a person who never has to deny that they're a witch.
Oh my god.
Yeah, you're right. What's her name?
Sounds like Queesty Wee.
A name that sounds like Queesty Wee. I can't believe I can't remember her name.
I can't believe it's not butter.
Saturday Night Live comedian Will Ferrell, and she was in that movie with Will Ferrell and Brian Safi.
Sure, yeah.
With oh God, why can't I get it, James? I need another hint for some reason.
You're gonna guess it, and you're gonna read the live chat. You're gonna die.
We
Just put a consonant at the end.
weak.
Okay, try all the consonants.
Weed.
Through them.
Weak. Weed. Weef.
No.
Weeg. Weeg.
Wait, what?
Weeg. Weeg. Christine Weeg.
Sure. It's Kristen Wiig.
Kristen Wiig. Everybody, I have an important announcement. It's Kristen Wiig.
I just love this entire
Christine
string.
Taylor. Oh, Christina Ricci. Christy Weed. Oh, are you trying to guess one of the Christies or Christinas? Is bring it to 'em? Oh, Krusty Weed. Flying Spaghetti Weed Monster. Oh, Krusty Weed is my drag name. Crusted Weed. Crusted Weed. Guess the celebrity I was thinking of. But I wasn't even thinking of her. Is the problem. You were almost in queef territory. Wig snatched. Christine Wig snatched. We did it.
We've just birthed an entire generation of drag queens just right now.
Oh no. Okay, the last one. Can you guess what movie I was trying to remember?
Oh no, we're gonna be here all day.
What was the movie I was trying to remember the name of when I guessed? Who Rang That Bell? Get the Money. Broker Buddies. Give Me That Suitcase. The Perfect Portfolio. Countdown to Monkey. Pirates of Wall Street. The Day the Money Laughed. Connect the Pork. A Very Peculiar Arrangement. The Strangest Handshake. Money Dance! Exclamation point. Weird Wallet. Freaky Finance. Bumbling Bonds. Dude Swap. Different Guys, and Getting Freaky.
This is all one piece of media.
One movie.
I'm gonna say it's money related because there's a lot of money related stuff in there. Countdown to Monkey. Oh, it's the movie with Dan Aykroyd and Eddie Murphy.
You remembered the monkey.
Trading Places.
Yeah, you got that quick.
I got it. Nicholas
live-
Crass got it. Oh my god!
Live chat got it for sure.
Wow, and The Big Short, another good guess. And it says Wolf of Wall Street, also very good guess. Nicholas, you got it. Trading Places. How did you get it? Dude swap getting freaky. I think I saw that one. There are enough clues in here. Cause wait, get the Broker Buddies, The Perfect Portfolio, Pirates of Wall Street, Connect the Pork because it's about pork bellies. A Very Peculiar Arrangement, The Strangest Handshake, Money Dance, Freaky Finance because it's kind of Freaky Friday with money.
Okay,
is what that movie is.
Okay,
and Countdown to Monkey because there's a monkey at the end of the movie.
Opera Zine had The Day the Money Laughed is my personal favorite of the
That
bunch.
is good.
That's so funny that you got that so quickly because like the Kristen Wiig one, like I had it.
Yes.
With this, you get to the end and I'm like, Matt, you didn't go anywhere with any of your guesses. That is, but like, oh, of course it's Trading Places.
Yep. Yep.
That's so funny.
Video Dream says I've never seen Trading Places. It's actually pretty good. It sort of is like The Prince and the Pauper, but with Wall Street.
For me, Trading Places is like the TV show where they like swap
Oh,
houses
yes.
and
Yeah.
they like remake people's houses and then they come home and they cry.
That's the one. You know, I'm always looking for. Now, there's some reason that I like repeatedly am looking for clips of like home makeover things, and I can't remember why. I was looking for it like as reference for something. It wasn't for Queens of Adventure. I want to say it was for something D&D related. Anyway, doesn't matter.
I remember when we were growing up, like extreme home makeover was like the thing to watch, and I remember like every time we'd like have to sit down with the family and watch the thing from start to finish because it was a heartwarming story of people who were very misfortunate who then got a really nice house. And who was that one guy, I can't remember his name, with like the hair and like the like soul patch, who's like, bus driver, move that bus.
That guy.
I remember that like a little too vividly, but I forget what his name is. If I know what it was, I'm not gonna make you guess it. But
I've never known his name, so there's no hope.
He'd always wear like those like weird like Matthew McConaughey like Hawaiian shirts, and he was kind of like whatever, but I remember that like vivid detail.
Bill Goods.
Bill.
That's his name.
Ty Pennington. That's what it is.
Oh. Video Dream says I did see a fish called Wanda, Jamie Lee Curtis, and Boomerang, Eddie Murphy. I feel good with that, but nothing in and nothing but trouble. Dan Aykroyd. These. James just off camera went, oh. I don't think they're great films. Have you seen The Associate, starring Whoopi Goldberg? Drag queens help transform from black woman to a white 60s plug-age man. What? 60s? What? Yeah, what is all I can say about that. What? The Associate. Okay. Look up Adventures of... Oh, that's right. Captain Vrungle. Main character once gets seasick and redresses the merman into delusion. Which is
You met Ty Pennington? What was that like? Holy shit.
I'm writing down The Associate with Whoopi Goldberg, and then we're going to look up Adventures of Captain Vrungle. Adventures.
Yeah, that's like I think that's like the second or third mention that's gotten.
Captain Vrungle in some versions. So let's see. We're gonna look at some pictures. This looks very Soviet. I see what kind of animation this is. So there looks like there's an animated version and a live action version. And I'm not seeing a mermaid. So let's see if we can mermaid or merman. Not seeing anything.
Is this like the Google image, like equivalent of like that YouTube like rabbit hole where you just like keep going and going and going until you're like, how did I get here?
Yes. Yeah, I'm not seeing any merfolk here. Captain Vrungle, just met Ty Pennington. Joshua says the bald guy is really sexy. I may be some big meathead, but he's really attractive. Well, you got some. I don't know. Well, the thing is like we're both a little short on top, so I don't know who you're talking about. Atlanta Airport, and oh wait, what? Atlanta? Oh, you met him at the Atlanta Airport, the Soviet version of Winnie the Pooh. Oh wait, really? Oh, wait. Okay, sorry. There's a lot of threads here. So, the Soviet version of Winnie the Pooh is adorable. We'll look at that in a second. And Rezel says, it transitions randomly. Are you talking about the merman in a delusion? I'll poke over to YouTube and see if we can find a merman there. Now, we're seeing, like, full episodes, which we're not going to, like, take the time to scrub around through right now. I used to know...
Whoopi's one-woman show by heart. Wow. Oh. Played nonstop on Sony Walkman. I had a Walkman. I'm not that old, but I did have a Walkman.
Yeah, I had. I would tape episodes of The Simpsons and just listen to them over and over on my Walkman. What was on a loop for you? What did you listen to?
Britney Spears.
Okay.
That was my first CD. And so I remember like having it in like the thing and just like walking around and she would give me a sign and hit me baby one more time over and over and over again. That
was for us. I'm just looking at the other thing you recommended, Rezel, which was Russian Treasure Island. And again, it looks I see a lot of Soviet style in this animation. And a bit of a shirtless muscle bear. Well, shirtless bear firing a cannon in a way that seems mildly suggestive.
That's not phallic at all.
No, not a bit. Yeah, there we go. That's some mustache. Okay. What did you record on your portable Walkmans is the question. I'm trying to think. Well, it was for me. It was episodes of The Simpsons, particularly the one where Marge is in a musical version of A Streetcar Named Desire. I think if I saw that, if I saw that episode, I would be able to talk along to the entire thing.
No kidding.
There's what's his name? The guy who played the critic, Jay Sherman, is the character's name. John Lovitz plays a owner of a preschool, the Ayn Rand daycare, for rebellious tots or something like that. Mrs. Simpson, I don't like to toot my own horn, but we're the only daycare center in town that's not currently under investigation by the state. Don't like to nap, eh? She says to Maggie. Oh, there's so many references in that episode. There's a reference to the movie The Great Escape. There's a Alfred Hitchcock reference. I made the Alfred Hitchcock silhouette with my hands to remember his name. Ayn Rand Daycare Center. Well, that was the thing.
Ayn Rand Daycare.
There's a giant poster on the wall that says A is A. Play enjoyed by all. Yes. What does he say? He also plays Llewellyn Sinclair, the autocratic director, community theater director.
Oh my God.
Who says, my last play, Hats Off to Hanukkah, got rave reviews. Play enjoyed by all is in the newspaper. He's auditioning people for the role of Stella, and he's like, what none of you ladies understand, blah, blah, blah. He's criticizing everyone who's auditioning. I'm going to crawl into bed with a bottle of amaretto. Good day. Yes. Anyway, God, this is me just reciting random parts of an episode of The Simpsons.
Seriously.
Did Walkmans record, says John Newman? Some of them.
Are we talking about like tape Walkmans or CD Walkmans?
I'm thinking of the tape Walkmans.
See, I do remember having a tape recording in like device where I remember I would listen to the radio with when it would like come along with the tape recorders, and I remember like listening to like the top 5 countdown of the most requested songs and being like, I hope it's the one that I want, and then when it come on, just like press record so I could like capture it for myself so that I didn't have to wait for the radio to bring it to me.
Exactly. Yeah, I had that was how I memorized all of the words to 1 week.
No kidding.
Yes, I was like, this will make me popular at parties. If I could sing the entire song, if I could, like, the song comes on at a party, and if I could just, like, sing along to this incredibly stupid song, everyone would be so impressed. And it worked. I was at a party, the song came on, I sang along, everyone was like, wow! And...
You know, I found this really, like, funny Twitter thread the other day that was, like, in as few words as possible, like... force someone to hear a song in their head, and like all someone wrote was "It's been," and like that's it, and I was like, oh my gosh, that worked so well.
It does. Yeah, that's true. I'm like trying to think of anything that like nothing's coming to mind. Like it's been.
If someone put somebody once told me, then like that would be like that. I feel like that's more words, but like that would be in the same sort of like vein.
If I saw like lowercase some and then uppercase body, like
then that
would work.
That would totally do it for sure.
Yes. There's an episode of Happy Days. Oh, John Newman had an episode of Happy Days on cassette that I recorded by holding it next to the TV. Fall asleep to. Oh, that is really sweet. My well of original knowledge ran out of juices, says Rezel. I'm still like fascinated by Dark Ninja Firefox, the Soviet version of Winnie the Pooh. I was gonna look up.
What?
Let's see. The Soviet version of Winnie the Pooh is adorable. Can we open there? For some reason, open there. Winnie the Pooh. Oh, this is weird. It wants to autocomplete Russian. Oh, it's really cute.
Oh, wow.
Oh. Okay, I'm really charmed by this. It's completely different from the Disney art style. I absolutely like, there are the characters. There's Eeyore, there's Owl. Owl's wearing a beautiful hat. It's really, really cute, you guys.
That's actually, I think, a lot cuter than...
Wow. There's a little side-by-side of the Disney version and the Russian version of, like, Rabbit trying to pull Winnie the Pooh out of the hole in his burrow. And honestly, like, Rabbit's outfit like kind of resembles just something I would wear a day to day. Like I feel very closely identified with this rabbit. Yeah, this is really adorable. Russian Winnie the Pooh.
Huh.
He looks a bit like a tanuki or a
Yes.
or a raccoon, but it's super cute. Look at this rabbit. Does he have a? I can't tell if he's got a turtleneck or a bow tie or what. It's really cute. Okay. Oh, and there's little toys. Oh.
Merch. You gotta have the merch.
Oh, thank you for making us aware of this.
That is really good.
Okay. Okay. Well, that's gonna be okay. Yes, this picture of Rabbit is this. This is my profile picture.
Yeah, that's you to a T.
Oh, Vinnie Pook, Russia's Winnie the Pooh. That's so cute.
Wow.
Long Drawn Out Happy, while a crowd of non-singers tried to get into tune and start the actually, yes.
Real. No, that's like the stuff of nightmares.
It's either like the horror of everyone singing like in a different key and like everyone being off, or everyone's a theater major and they're all trying to do harmony and they're all trying to like do different parts and be noticed and like have the last note.
I hate that so much. And then you have like the people who like have like some sort of musical training who are like, let's start, because the key to Happy Birthday is starting in the right key for everyone, because if you start too high, then you have to go like really high and and like no one knows what to do. So like you can see anyone who has like any sort of like music training looking around the room like, okay, like is this how this is gonna go? Okay.
Who's got the little like
yeah, seriously.
La Chose de says, have you watched the 2016 version of Rocky Horror Picture Show? We were talking about that a little earlier. It's okay. I mean, here's the thing: is a lot of those songs are just great songs anyway, so you can enjoy them. But yeah, I feel like that 2016 version, it's just such a pale imitation, and feels like I don't know, just felt like not quite enthusiastic enough.
Yeah.
Like, they just didn't seem to be into it. Glee version of Rocky Horror was bad enough. We all know never to make yeah. When Pooh approaches the honey tree and hears the bees, the subtitle says, "This buzz is not without a reason." That's great. John Newman, I just mouth happy birthday. Yes.
That is the way to go. If we could have a room full of people just mouthing happy birthday.
God, deathly silent.
And just like
not a sound.
That would be ideal.
That's how I used to, when I was a kid. That's how I would sing the national anthem, because like even as a kid I had moral objections to patriotism.
See, if you can't get that through like a small child's brain, that's when you know like you're having real issues.
Yeah, so I wouldn't sing the national anthem. I wouldn't say the Pledge of Allegiance. And then many years later, I was at a city council meeting, and I knew some of the people on the city council, and they would always have somebody else recite, this is so creepy, the Pledge of Allegiance at the start of every city council meeting. And he approached me, and he was like, wanted to, like, as a nice thing, was like, would you like to lead the Pledge of Allegiance? And I was friends with this guy, and I didn't want to be weird or rude, and so I was just like, that's okay. But I just, like, in that moment, just felt so deeply uncomfortable, because I was like, I would like to expound on the reason that I find this deeply unsettling, that we have this like chant of allegiance to a country that might not represent us and is founded on deeply racist principles and blah, 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 blah. Like, I want to go off on the Pledge of Allegiance. I do not want to recite it. That's okay. Because I was there to actually ask city council for things, and to be like, oh, we need more bike lanes, blah, blah, blah. And I didn't want to be like, but before I do that, let me like tell you why you're all wrong. Videodrome says, if I didn't have a problem with my legs, I would take a knee almost there's so many opportunities. Yeah. And Dark Ninja Firefox says, the only thing worse than a room of people singing happy birthday is when a friend betrays you, tells you the waitstaff. Oh, tells the waitstaff when you go and eat.
This happened to me last week.
This
happened to me last week at the IHOP over here on Madison, which I go to all the time. And it was a group full of people, and they're like, it's their birthday, and like normally like that like conjures up a moment where they're like, oh, okay, well, we're gonna get you something special, and they come out with some like thrown together dessert with a candle, and the entire restaurant stops for a second, and like This is, I mean,
I'm so tense right now, by the way.
well, the beautiful thing is that nothing happened. They were like, oh, okay, and then like went right back and didn't do anything.
I love it.
Which for me is the ideal outcome in that scenario.
Yes, that is the greatest gift of all. Wow. Oh my God. Oh yes, 1993, Wednesday Addams taught us about America's awful founding. That is true. We're coming up on Thanksgiving and a great time to watch Addams Family Values.
Oh my gosh, the only proper like media response to like mainstream media response to Thanksgiving, that like play that they
absolutely
put on.
I love that, like, there's that scene even before the Thanksgiving pageant where they're like doing like learning to swim and doing rescues and things, and that one girl whose name I forgot, like she's like, oh, we need a victim and we need a rescuer, and she's like, I'll be the victim, and Wednesday goes, all your life.
Very progressive for the time.
Oh gosh, and there's the one, there's the wedding scene where like someone throws the bouquet and Wednesday catches it, and one of the Addams relatives just looks down at her like holding the wedding bouquet and says, tramp. Who wrote that? It was Paul something. He wrote the remake of Stepford Wives. He wrote In and Out. He wrote Jeffrey. I'm not going to get this. It's Paul Prune Juice. But he's family. He's a writer. He has been responsible for a lot of like great comedy.
Oh yeah.
I wish I could remember his name because I did a video on In and Out and oh well. But he wrote Addams Family. He ghost wrote Addams Family. Oh, and also did Punch Up on. Okay, I was gonna call it Church Becomes Her. Not that.
That's not what that movie is.
The prequel to Back in the Habit, Sister Act.
The prequel to Back in the Habit.
Stop! Don't hurt me. Yeah, so he did Punch Up on Sister Act, which was going to star Bette Midler before it was Whoopi Goldberg. I know, crazy, right?
I don't want to live. I mean, I love Bette Midler, but I don't want to live in a universe where Whoopi Goldberg
isn't in
not
Sister Act.
In Sister Act.
It's also like watching it now. It's a little weird because they're like, we're gonna put you where nobody's gonna find you, and you're never gonna stand out. Like, this is where you put her. Like, it doesn't make sense. It's also like the whitest church. Like, culturally, it's a super weird fit that the black cop puts the black singer in a super like an all white church. Okay, we should probably talk about that, but also maybe not. Anyway. Oh, nice Christina Ricci reach around. Yes. It was Charles Busch. Yes, it was Charles Busch from Psycho Beach Party and Die Mommy Die and a million things. Vampire Lesbians of Sodom. The Lady in Question is Charles Busch. As I'm sure you are aware of Charles Busch's whole career and the Theater Ridiculous in New York and all this stuff.
Yes.
Yes, Charles Busch is the one who says tramp. Paul Rudnick. I'm exhausted. We just got to a part in the music where it's like, it's a slow, like, conclusion of a song. I just feel like, like I've completely wiped myself out. You guys, we are past our normal, like, thank you and good night time. We've been streaming for quite a while and forgetting things all over the cultural landscape. Thank you all for joining. Please join us tomorrow for our next live stream. It's going to be at bit.ly/extralifeseattle. It's not going to be on YouTube. It's going to be on Twitch. We're going to have an entire week, Sunday to Sunday, of live streams, starting tomorrow with a big gay game of Dungeons & Dragons with Brian Safi, Carlos Maza, Anthony Oliveira, and Brian Wiest. We're going to be streaming games for an entire week, video games, and then on Sunday, the 4th, November 4th, Arson and team are going to join us for our very first Queens of Adventure live stream. I am so excited for this.
We're going to do it in full drag.
In full drag. Here in this room. I don't know how we're going to fit everybody, but we'll figure it out. Hopefully. Yeah, big gay Queens of Adventure, drag queen. James just posted the link to it in there. So watch us, get the whole schedule there. Please donate to Seattle Children's Hospital. We're doing this to benefit them. 100% of what you give goes straight to the hospital.
Yay.
Yay! And yeah, mark your calendars for an entire week of big queer D&Ding.
Hell yeah. I also would like to mention that I, as of my last check, was 5 followers away from breaking 3,000 followers on Instagram.
Oh my goodness, go follow Arson on Instagram right now.
If we get to the end of October and I break 3,000 followers, I don't know what I'll do, but I'll do something to celebrate.
We will, yes, you have a week to think about it. We want you to do something special on the live stream to celebrate. James, could you post a link to Arson's Instagram? He's already working on it. So we're going to have a link to Arson's Instagram in just a moment. Oh, yay. Torrid says, I always look forward to these streams.
Aww.
Yay. And there's the link to Instagram. Go follow. Uncle Dudley says, 2DD live streams, very squee, much hype. Dark Ninja Firefox is thanks for streaming. I love to sit in. We're so glad to have you here. John says, thanks again, Matt and Arson. Peace, love, and climax. Well.
Oh, well, sure. If
No,
you
a
insist.
A petit more. Oh, Charles does a play called Lily Dare, where his character begins as a 16-year-old girl. Ooh, just out of convent. Interesting. Look at Charles Bush there. Neat. So yes, join us for our next live streams. We'll see you tomorrow and for an entire week. And then Arson will be joining Frey Love and Butalino Kipple and Harlotte Oscara for a wild, wacky adventure that is still not quite written. So help! But we'll have something in place in time for everybody. Yeah. Thanks for joining, everybody.
Thank
we'll
you.
See you again soon.
Woo.
Have a fabulous weekend. Goodbye, everyone. Goodbye.